How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
Red Bull gives you wings.
सी गॉड ऑफ 40R के रिडेम्पशन आर्क की हो चुकी है शुरुआत. Medal Esports are preparing to take the Season 4 medal home. Feels like Destro's magnet has finally started pulling off. क्या ओमेगा की टीम का दिख सकता है मेगा कमबैक? Watch BGMS Season 4 live on Jio Hotstar, Star Sports and Nodwin Gaming's YouTube channel daily 5 p.m. onwards.
It's the final weekend of the league stage of the BGMS Season 4, and now the Impact players are also active. I'm going to be your host, Crore. John alongside with me on the panel. It's Scared yet. And Scared, as I mentioned, the Impact players are now active in the final week of the league stage. A final chance to make a mad dash, maybe in the top 12.
This is one of the biggest and the last opportunity for all of these teams. And this is exactly where we ended up yesterday's show as well, right? That it's going to be these Impact players which are now going to bring a lot of impact in, right? Those 35-point games, 40-point games. The average just increases significantly when you combine the Impact player and the bounty.
Especially for teams like Team Aryan who do not really want to be a part of the early game action, this Impact player system can really help them. We know how good Cyrax has been playing. And imagine if Cyrax is the Impact player, that's just going to be the cherry on top of the cake. The man racks up a lot of elimination points. Those elimination points get doubled up. That means Team Aryan will have massive games in their hands.
I mean, you talk about Team Aryan as well. I think of Team Soul too, because legit, he's been popping off like an insane man. It just feels like, you know, whenever we are talking about these teams, there's always this one or the other player who has been outperforming everyone else for all of them. And I'd really love to see that.
And speaking of some of the Impact players as well, even Hunters has to be part of the conversation, right? We know the last time when we saw the man on the red hot screen, Hunters was performing out of his mind. Yeah, recently Genesis Esports, they have taken a bit of that deep. And speaking about recent performances, let's have a look at the recap of what exactly happened yesterday. In the Week 3, Day 4, things of course were a little bit confusing. As the game 1 started, things started to clear down a little bit more. We had the team like OG as well being a part of that game, while Hero Extreme Godlike, for after a long time, they were playing with all the 4 players in that first game. Off the rip, the action kicked off between K9 Esports and Hero Extreme Godlike, where for some reason, K9 Esports cracked up big time.
Yeah, they seemed disconnected as well, and then eventually, iQOO Soul as well decided to move up close and personal, and guess what? It was Godlike to deliver the final blow and claim the bounty. That was absolutely a Salt on top of the wounds.
Generally speaking, Hero Extreme Godlike was on an absolute tear, and then NoNx were the one to claim their second chicken dinner back-to-back, because just before day 4, in the day 3, NoNx got the chicken dinner in the final game.
That was the strength of NoNx as well, right? And on the map of Miramar, we could clearly see that on display as well. It was iQOO's soul to constantly have that barrage of shots fired in all directions onto everyone from that hill, but NoNx just coming right from the foothill, moving their way up, climbing the uphill battle, ended up winning the first hat-trick of chicken dinners.
Exactly, the first ever hat-trick in the BGMS Season 4, and that was an iconic moment. NoNx is a burning torch of consistency, but then later on, that torch was definitely not seen since the groups shuffled up. We did see in the final few moments Metal Esports a part of the map at Sanhok, but Reckoning Esports, they had a massive hold, and because of this hold, Reckoning Esports were easily able to storm through and claim the chicken dinner.
Another big play coming in from the side of Reckoning, because they were really in need of that. But yes, not with a lot of eliminations, so something they wanted to move forward with in the next game. But that wasn't really their game either. It was Godlike facing some intense action early on against K9 Esports, and guess what? It was still Godlike winning all of that.
Hero Extreme Godlike, with the way they were winning those fights, it felt like yesterday they were in top-notch form. But then, the moment we say so, Hero Extreme Godlike threw that game and gifted the chicken dinner to Likitha Esports. Jonathan, of course, quite disappointed in the teammates and knew exactly what happened there because they threw the chicken dinner away. As we've got the overall standings popping up after that game, REVENANT Spark still on top with 462. You've got Soul as well on the second spot with 455. And of course, we've got 453 points from the side of OG.
That's the top 4 again. We normally see these teams not really change apart from the 4th spot, which keeps on shuffling right now. It's Genesis, God's Reign as well, Hero Extreme Godlike. They're pretty close by and they can barge in instantly. The gap is only 4 to 5 points, but from NoNx is where the point gap starts to increase. But this is the fun fact, NoNx making in top 8. They're also going to play 2 games today. They've been on a hot streak right now. I'm going to look forward to them.
Team Aryan's on the 16th spot. Victoria Sumus is right above them as well, not too far back from each other. On the last page, we've got a few concerning names as well, since they're quite the known names. NINZA, Mad Kings, Marcos Gaming, Reckoning Esports after having that chicken dinner yesterday. Reckoning Esports, one thing is for sure, now once again, they might just have that wind of the sail, and there's a big chance Reckoning Esports can carry that forward, because in the last game, we did not see Reckoning Esports do quite good. And speaking about the Impact players itself, since we know it's the weekend, we've got the system active, and inside of the FS Esports squad, we've got Godix as the Impact player, Aimbot from Metal Esports, Javin from Reckoning Esports, Colin from the side of IG Los Hermanos, and Cyrax from Team Aryan, which makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense as well. True Reaper's pick here, wow, out here, and then you've also got Trace God, AKOP, Poco. All of these players, at least most of these players, they've been on the TVS Most Wicked Player Raider list as well. The interesting name out here is going to be Ninja Boy for me. Because here's the thing, I understand. Beast is the main man for K9 who's constantly been getting those frags.
No, I still believe that Ninja Boy has been someone that does contribute quite a decent manner, specifically to the elimination points. Yeah, maybe a few off games have been handed out to Ninja Boy, but we know this man can definitely make a lot of difference when it comes down to it. Now, the Impact Player League Stage Week 1 stats pop up on the screen. Trey Scott was the best performing player in the Week 1.
Absolutely. Closely followed by Hunters as well with 31 points for himself. And whenever we talk about Hunters, we know it's always those 1v3s, 1v4s that always bring up on the spot, right? But there were some other names as well which were not really that impactful. Clutch God, Somraj, Lavish, they were eventually struggling. We're having iQOO right now as well being the Impact player. He was also on that struggling end out there with 6 points.
Absolutely. Even Clutch God, since he's from the side of Mad Kings, I would love to see what sort of contribution we can see from Clutch God. One thing is for sure now, the man will need to keep the IG-ling aside and focus a lot more on the firepower. And that might just take a massive toll on the players of Mad Kings, or maybe it can be a great thing. You never know. Experimenting sometimes can either be successful or either be completely down to the shambles. We'll find out the moment we actually step inside of the game. But Mad Kings is one of those teams that desperately need those massive performances. Before that, we've got a quick interview lined up, so let's move on towards that.
जैसे जैसे दिन बीतते जा रहे हैं, वो जो प्लेऑफ्स और ग्रैंड फाइनल्स का पजल है, वो तस्वीर जो है वो क्लियर होती जा रही है. But there are other things that need to be spoken about. वीकेंड में आपका स्वागत है. BGMS सीजन 4. मेरे साथ हैं निंजा बॉय ऑफ K9 एंड ओवेस ऑफ विक्टोरियस सुमस. हमारे जो दोस्त हैं ना, उनसे हम बात कर रहे थे, तो वो मेरे को कह रहे थे कि भाई उड़ती उड़ती खबर आई है. भाई उड़ती उड़ती खबर तो नहीं है, क्योंकि अब तूने वो बात आउट कर दी है. देयर इज अ लॉट हैपनिंग विद योर टीम. आपके नाक के नीचे
आप ही के एक प्लेयर को इन द मिडल ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट किसी और टीम ने ले लिया है, एंड आई एम जस्ट थिंकिंग हाउ डू यू इवन कॉन्सेंट्रेट एंड फोकस ऑन द टूर्नामेंट? आप कैसे खेल रहे हैं? व्हाट्स हैपनिंग हियर ब्रो?
सो पहली बात तो मतलब इट्स वेरी हार्ड फॉर मी एंड माई टीम, क्योंकि बीच टूर्नामेंट चल रहा है, हम लोग को सेमीज के लिए क्वालिफाई करना है, वरना हम प्लेऑफ्स में भी जा सकते हैं। तो मतलब मेरा ये मानना है कि बीच टूर्नामेंट में आप अगर किसी प्लेयर को ले रहे हो तो आप एटलीस्ट उनकी टीम से पूछ लो, क्योंकि आपको भी पता है कि रजिस्ट्रेशन डेट का टाइमिंग क्या है, और मेरे को भी पता है रजिस्ट्रेशन डेट का टाइमिंग क्या है, क्योंकि ऐसा हुआ कि 12 बजे जो टाइमिंग है वो बंद होने वाला है और 10 बजे मुझे पता चल रहा है। तो अगर मेरी टीम से कोई अच्छा प्लेयर जा रहा है तो उसके रिप्लेसमेंट में मुझे कोई अच्छा प्लेयर ही लगेगा। तो मतलब 2 घंटे में मैं सर्च भी नहीं कर पाया, और मतलब जो रजिस्टर्ड जितने भी प्लेयर थे सारे रजिस्टर्ड थे। तो अभी भी मतलब ऐसा है कि 2 दिन तो मैं खुद ही इतना स्ट्रेस में था कि मैं आया ही नहीं खेलने। सो अभी वही है कि अभी कुछ कर नहीं सकते, जो हो गया सो हो गया, अब आगे फोकस करते। आज मैं खेलने आया हूँ, मैं सेमीज में फोकस करता हूँ मेरी टीम के साथ जाने का, तो वही है।
जिस प्लेयर की हम बात कर रहे हैं, इज स्टिल पार्ट ऑफ द लाइनअप ना? और
नहीं, मतलब मैं ये टूर्नामेंट में तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि मैं सबको ट्राई करूंगा अभी कि शफल कर करके देखूं किसके साथ बेटर जमता है, क्योंकि मेन हम लोग जो 3 खेलने वाले हैं, हम लोग ज़्यादा फोकस करेंगे, हम अपनी सिनर्जी तो बिठा लें।
कंप्लीटली फेयर पॉइंट। निंजा बॉय, थोड़ा रिवाइंड करते हैं, वक्त में थोड़ा पीछे चलते हैं, बिकॉज देयर वाज अ टाइम, चाहे ऑफिशियल्स हो या बाकी टूर्नामेंट्स हो, जब एमवीपीज की बात होती थी, आपका जिक्र हुआ करता था। बट अब ऐसे बहुत सारे एथलीट्स आ गए हैं, ऐसे बहुत सारे खिलाड़ी आ गए हैं हु हैव मूव्ड अहेड ऑफ यू। हैज द गेम मूव्ड अहेड, या आप उसकी स्पीड पकड़ नहीं पाए हैं?
ऐसे बात नहीं है, सबके अप्स एंड डाउन्स आते हैं गेम में, एंड आज के टाइम में मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मतलब आईजीएल का भी गन पावर है, सबका सेम ही है। बस मेन चीज़ है गेम में कॉन्फिडेंस की बात होती है, जिस टीम पे कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता है वही टीम मार पाती है। एंड अभी मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस थोड़ा डाउन है, बट वापस आ रहा है। सो तुम्हें आज भी देखने को मिलेगा। एंड आज जैसे इस वीक में इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर बना हूँ, तो आज अभी ये जो 8 मैच बचे हैं उसमें आप लोगों को देखने को मिलेगा कि मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस कितना बड़ा है।
आपके जो हम्बल आईजीएल हैं, जब ऐसे परफॉर्मेंस आती है, ऐसे मैच होते हैं, उसके बाद वो कितनी ह्यूमिलिटी दिखाते हैं आप लोगों को?
वो आप लोगों को कल के लास्ट मैच में देखने को मिला होगा।
आई थिंक इनफ सेड। आई थिंक निंजा बॉय ने बात समझा दी है। ऑलराइट, लिसन, स्टेज 5 तक हमने जितने भी मैचेस देखे हैं वीएस के, आप चारों के 4 एक्टिव होते हैं, लेकिन स्टेज 7 आता तो क्या हो जाता भाई?
हमारा ऐसा है कि हम लोग सरवाइव तो कर लेते हैं, बट जहाँ बात आती है कि हमें अब गेम को फिनिश करना है, तो हमारा गेम कन्वर्ट नहीं हो पाता है। आई डोंट नो वाई ऐसा क्यों होता है, क्योंकि ये पहली बार नहीं है, बहुत बार हो चुका। हम लोग मेरे हिसाब से 6-7 बार सेकंड आए हैं। आई डोंट नो, एक बार 1v4 भी हो गए थे, बट वी आर फिक्सिंग दैट।
Listen, Oves is one of the funniest guys. हमेशा मुस्कुराता रहता है, and I think what has happened to his team, that's very unsportsmanlike. Brother, you deserve a hug and best of luck for that. Ninja boy, best of luck for today. BGMS season 4 headlines बन रही है बॉस। आज के दिन पे फोकस रहेगा, सारे गेम्स खेले जाएंगे 1+13 पे। We'll see you after the break.
What's the cheat code, bro?
No code.
So, a script then, or a bot?
No script.
All right, class. For today's lesson...
I already taught her something.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
It's a fight for this trophy right there on the screen. And today we've got the Impact Player System live in the game, which is going to help a few of these teams make a major leap in the overall standings and change the entire look of the overall board. We've got today's matchup lined up on the screen. As we all know, we're going to kick things off on the map of Erangel. Group A is going to be playing all the 4 games, but Group A will be coupled up with Group B at the start.
Today is going to be the day where, again, Group B will be playing all the 4 games right now. So we're going to see OG, NINZA, REVENANT Xpa, God's Reign. All of these names stay up for such a long time. That means the bounty of OG, RNTX and Soul, that could be claimed up very quickly by the members of Group A or Group C.
There's definitely a massive chance, but as we've got the playing teams on the screen, even teams like God's Reign are a part of it. NINZA is also right there, and specifically for NINZA too, they need to amp that aggression up. We have seen NINZA at least trying their best to be a part of those fights, but the main issue is the conversion, and the conversion is clearly lacking. But if you guys want to watch Metal Esports, Soul, Revenant, Xpark, Genesis Esports' gameplay from their own POV, we've got the multicam feature live on Geo Hotstar, so I'd recommend you guys to move on there and check it out.
Yeah, you can also have their own specific looks for the entire game. You can have your own fun time there. What's the which team they're trying to target? And maybe you can cast their own rotations as well. Decide, or rather see what decisions they make, because a lot of eyes are going to be on the man who's on our screen right now as well, Jelly. What kind of decisions will he be making for his own team, considering True Ripper's position?
Exactly, that's what I was about to mention as well. Speaking of Jelly, True Rippers is not doing too hot in the overall standings. And this Impact Player rule is definitely going to help out even True Rippers and OS. We know what exactly has happened with this man, with this lineup, and still having such a good mood. It's quite tough to do that, man.
I mean, you really think about it, he's actually received quite a lot of support as well. Because what really happened to him, yeah, it should not have happened.
Of course, everyone knows that absolutely blows, it sucks. And of course, he would never want to be on the receiving side. But always the man is currently, and still keeping up the energy, still keeping up the mood. That's really good. And that maybe is going to help the man propel himself a little bit more in the overall standings, as we've got the plane hitting the skies once again, starting all the way from the left side, which is Primarchs, towards the opposite, which is going to be NINZA Power. This plane flap pad tilted extremely down south. Now it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be the one to go for those quick drop clashes, because there are definitely going to be a lot.
You don't really have a lot of map space to work with either ways, considering the fly path, right? You go down south, you're going to have God's Reign as well. I'm pretty sure True Rippers would want to jump towards Nova Noi right now. A lot of teams who enjoy the area of Primos, Ferry Pier, Quarry, they're going to focus down on that part as well. I want to see how OG will decide to maneuver now, because they would like to drop towards Rozok. Don't really have that opportunity, considering there's Soul as well, who would want to drop towards School, and that's not reachable either.
True. We've got NINZA once again back towards their OG drop spot, which is Quarry. Back to the basics. Even Victor Sumus dropping towards Fair Pier, which is understandable. And luckily enough for Victor Sumus, Phoenix Esports is not a part of the lobby, so Victor Sumus can easily drop towards Fair Pier, get their loot up. And Phoenix Esports, they've got quite a mix of drop locations, right? Sometimes they go towards Lipovka, sometimes they drop all the way down south towards Fair Pier.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't exactly know what sort of a drop location they want to execute, but they do it accordingly to the plane fly path.
True.
Since even TWOB has taken an exit towards Lipovka, for TWOB as well, it will be smooth sailing.
It is.
Oh my god.
Exactly. Pistols now being fired upon, shot at the members of Revenant Xpark. All the way over towards the Pochinki as well, as they will now try to find the rest of the members. Not the best start happening in, but that's not the only place. They're also going to have a clash happening over towards Milta and Milta Power.
That's going to blow for the players of Revenant X Park. Starting things off with just a 3-man squad, and look at Team Aryan in the nearby proximity. You've got Aryan himself dropping towards Pachinki. And Revenant X Park, unfortunately for them, they're starting things off with just a 3-man squad. And looking at the zone. Oh, you love to see a military-based circle. Everyone's going to be making a mad dash as soon as possible. Before the stage 1 closes, they probably do want to be in their vehicles and bare minimum be in that zone.
And imagine if it eventually ends up being a northern circle again. Taking a curveball shift over towards the second. We've seen that happen quite a few times. And
the odds are low, though.
Funny.
The odds are extremely low in this one.
What if it happens right now? That's going to be fun, right? Because as of now as well, we're looking at Pochinki. It's going to be Revenant X Park now around the members of Team Aryan. This clash is also inevitable. But the fun fact is the bounty will not be claimed. Because FS aimed that first pick.
Definitely a big chance. A few scattered frags being taken across the board.
True to
and Aryan himself. Now the man's getting pounced on. Oh, Revenant X Park taking those shots. But Aryan perfectly placed. Sticky grenade actually finds that knock. And Team Aryan now, they find themselves in the massive advantage. The fight's taken down to a 4-on-2. Revenant X Park do not really have enough men to try and go for this defense. But what was Aryan doing?
Timing.
He had no clue that Fierce was right behind that wall. And he still got struck. Devotee across the fray, and even Devotee goes down. Revenant X Park, they somehow pull themselves back outside of the start. Team Aryan falling apart in this fight. What's going on with them? Who would have thought Team Aryan will fall down like this?
Now they've got to try and hold the position down. Fears is going to try and get the ammo back. The best part is that Ray Scott is back on his feet. It's going to be super fun.
I mean, with the way things are going, at least as of now, it seems like Team Aryan, they will not have a chance if they continue the fight in such a way. With just 2 players standing, Revenant X Park somehow pulling off a massive comeback in the fight. And the first game of the weekend itself, if Team Aryan's taken such a massive blow upon themselves, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be good for the mental either. We've got the Impact Player system live as well, and Aryan definitely wants to make the most out of it. The utility's starting to put in a lot of work. It does scratch up one of the players. But Team Aryan now once again on the back foot, trying to play it as passive as possible. The pump shotgun up close and personal. It's supposed to do that damage, but Henry, from the opposite side, the man's gunning the players down. He does find one of the knocks. Now the fight's taken down to even Steven.
That was a big
2v2
one
on the board.
Cyrax's position was absolutely unnoticed. Fierce, he was just trying to check every nook and cranny, every corner. He did not realize where the shots were coming from. Henry eventually answering back now. Cyrax still pretty close, up close and personal. Still wants to try and make a move though. Will eventually meet up with his teammate to try and figure out what they need to do after this. Finally, dropping down that Uzi and picks up his own pump shotgun too. 686.
Big problem is Devotee, the man's taken away to his death. And Devotee will be eliminated from the game too. Team Aryan, they completely gave up hopes on that player.
Yeah, they couldn't have because of the way how Revenant X Park was playing.
But here's the main problem for Team Aryan. They cannot even claim the bounty anymore because one of the elimination point was taken away from the side of FS Esports. And I'm pretty sure the only reason why Team Aryan dropped on top of the players of Revenant X Park is because they wanted to go for that bounty.
Now they can't claim it, so that's unfortunate. But there's another fight happening all the way over towards the other side as Victor Sumus answering back to the members of Likitha Esports as well. Up close and personal, still shots being fired, and the answer, it's just impeccable. But Fierce as well from the other side, trying to take down the members as the fight on screen continues. 2 different angles and 2 different actions happening side by side. Revenant X Park claiming the first one, and Cheyenne, the last man standing, the last hope remaining for Victor Sumus, holding his ground down.
Problematic start for the teams. Look at the Esports. They never expected this. A third party from NINZA. And for NINZA, it's a day with destiny. But even NINZA themselves lost out in few players. And Cheyenne, that was a big brain nade right there. Eliminating himself outside of the game.
That did not even bounce from the closed door. It bounced from the railing.
That's why I called it a big brain nade. But hold on.
Yeah.
He was just able to get one, but that's all he was able to find.
That to a knock.
And speaking about the Pochinki side once again, we've also got FS Esports actually camping out the entirety of Revenant X Park in the outer phrase. But I'm going to hold on to that word since NoNx is now taking a fight against Marcos Gaming, and what a good find that was! Viper, hold on, you disgusting man! He finds those two quick strikes and now wants to shut down Naughty and Viper! What was that 4-piece? NoNx, they're down, but they're not out yet.
What a nasty play coming in from Viper. The first knock, insane from his AR, and the second one with that shotgun blows my mind. And the patience in the third one when the player was jump peeking onto him. He just held out for a second, got his crosshair on the target, and then boom, one-shotted. Phenomenal.
Oh my god, that was dirty. He did them dirty.
Filthy, man.
A 1-on-4 just like that, not even breaking his sweat, and the man was pumped up in the end. NoNx, they're a prime example of a team in a red-hot form. Every single player is performing on an equal level. The team's communication, it's quite synergized. And everything is looking aligned. But I'm going to hold on to that thought. It's TWOB catching strays. And one man is already knocked out. And TWOB knows, going for that revival on just that one player, it's extremely risky. We just have to continue this rotation.
I mean, my big question is, why were they even deciding to fire onto the members of OG? Considering they know that True Rippers like to drop on towards Nova Ripnoi and the circle was there.
My big question is, why are you going so close through Nova Ripnoi?
Exactly right. A few questionable decisions coming in from the side of TWOB. Maybe they thought Nova Ripnoi is going to be empty. But
no,
that doesn't really make any sense.
Exactly. The planned flat path was down south, so everyone knows there are a lot of teams stacking the edge lines. And now look at the opposite fray. You've got OG. TWOB, you found yourself in the worst possible spot. Usually if a team is taking rotation, they try to move away as far as they can from the edge.
Yep.
But TWOB, it felt like they were pretty much just cruising through Nova Point. And that's why they caught that hurt. True Rippers, they claimed that elimination point easily. That's going to be +1 on the board. Since power play is not up, so it's just a +1. And I'm pretty sure True Rippers, they're not going to let go off the tracks of TWOB just like that, because they know the team is in the nearby vicinity. And they definitely do want to punish it. But let's have a look at this disgusting replay once again. Oh my god, Viper. Those two first quick knocks, then pulls out the pump shotgun, gets the third. Was lining up the fourth as well, and this was nasty.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Slaps him down.
The due diligence and patience was impeccable by the man. On the back of it right now, though. Oh my god, not really. The play is for riding a two-wheeler. OG. Sometimes pulling questionable decisions now, but going to be in the crosshairs of the members of True Rippers, considering TWOB were ones who got their attention over towards those shorelines.
Oh, True Rippers. Problems now once again starting to brew up. It's the players of OG taking those shots. Jelly soon. The zone's going to engulf him. Not exactly sure what the game plan's going to be for True Rippers, but whatever it is, they got to be careful. True Rippers, they've got the cavalry available as well. Every single person now playing from the edge lines. True Rippers, they know there are few elimination points. And they definitely do want to get their hands onto those.
OG are in a 2-2 split right now. So it's just going to be horrendous for them. AK eventually falling down. That is the impact player of the team.
OG split, it is supposed to be good. It is supposed to be rewarding. But the main problem is the remaining two split player are also dealing with the players of TWOB. So they've got a lot of problems at the same time. They've got too much than they can chew. And Mac, the man softened up extremely low. TWOB sizing up the players of OG because they want to soon devour them. Next zone shift is going to be essential, and it's going to take a sudden shift. NoNx find themselves in this Mac Center, but converting solid games back-to-back is tough. But maybe NoNx can do it. It's them we're speaking of at the end of the day. FS Esports still alive and cooking inside of the game, as now this time it's going to be Metal Esports in the opposite fray. And FS Esports, they start cooking them as well. Altu, the last man surviving. Altu was able to find some sort of damage, but that some damage is not enough. Altu needs to pump out a lot of damage. But Metal Esports instead, they crack themselves.
Big play coming in as well from Lovish. Getting 3 of those people out of there. Saving the grace of his team and will give the revival to FS. This is the aggression which I was looking for this team for such a long time. And we were not really seeing that happen.
And here's the thing, the only reason why we're getting to see the aggression is because the plain fly path. It forced the players of FS Esports to play that aggressive game. Drop towards the garage because they wanted to get their hands on the vehicle. But in that spot, they also met with that one man of Revenant X-Park.
Sensei, yep.
And then they realized, okay, the zone's down south. It does not really make a lot of sense going up north anymore. So let's just loot up down south and directly try and penetrate the zone. And to do so, they had to push out their comfort zone, and that's what they did.
That's where they eventually caught up the members of Metal Esports as well. So things happening here and there, though, because the only man remaining from TWOB. It's also the impact player for the team. You can try your level best to try and burst the tires of the vehicle. They've got 2 hovercrafts there. You don't even have enough bullets to try and blow them apart. That's again, Pukar just...
TWOB just has been so questionable, right?
It just doesn't make sense for the decisions that they make.
Even when they've got a good positioning inside of the circle, you will see that one bad decision, and because of that, TWOB's chicken dinner just misses. And the main problem for TWOB has always been their positioning. It's extremely bad, and look at Pukar, unaware of the fact that he's getting ran over by that hovercraft. You know what? Let's just ignore that moment. It's understandable the man was all by himself from TWOB, but the real question still lies. Where is the presence of mind from TWOB? Why are the positioning so bad? Are the players washed?
Could be possible at this point. Maybe it's just the synergy that has not been kicking in at all. Right now, it's going to be Meta NINZA. Still trying to cam the bridge over towards Ferry Pier. Yeah, FS are now going to face some problems too, but they will not go down without a fight. So it's going to be a back and forth instantly coming in from both of these teams. But here we go. MyG lost Hermanos on the very other end. Necro, they're going to be holding down that any rotation which is going to come in from Melta Bridge. Revenant X-Park still 3 men strong. They're still going in for this rotation.
Specifically with how things are, MyG lost Hermanos. The recent form has been decent, but yesterday's day was pretty bad for MyG lost Hermanos. Looking at what's going on here, though. Unfortunately, Reckoning Esports. Oh no, yeah, Max, the man's in quite a problematic spot. And I highly doubt Max is going to be able to make that escape anyways, but he still finds the strike. Good Colin. How did this happen? Lost Hermanos, how did you let that happen? That is a rookie mistake. You just lost your impact player in that fight. It doesn't make any sense, Los Hermanos.
No, they're not just going to lose one, they're going to lose 2 rather. They will have to run away from this fight. Leaving behind one Strangler. Repositioning is now going to come into play as well. And Evil has been knocked out from the other side because that's where true Rippers are. MyG Los Hermanos over-committing on one player. Questionable decisions. It's now resulted them in a scenario where they could have eventually grabbed such a good area inside the circle, Necro. Look at that. It's empty. There are more airdrops in the circle than there were teams for a few seconds ago.
And specifically with how things are, Revenant X-Park towards that top right. At least if Revenant X-Park keeps that edge to themselves, they will be fine. As long as they do not get backstabbed. Revenant X-Park can play from that edge, and things can be good. God's Reign, we know, they rule the military island. It is supposed to be their game. But if God's Reign messes up, the game is done for. And you know what the crazy part is? It's still quite early inside of the game. It's just the stage 4, and we've only got 5 teams standing. So many early game fights happen, and this is what happens because the impact player system's live. A lot of these teams wanted to take the advantage in the power play itself because they would get triple the points or quadruple the points. That's what I meant to say. And since everyone was so greedy, the early fights ended up being their demise. But I love that.
Everyone loves that. But this is the big thing, right? You talk about the military island that is being ruled by God's reign. Ruling over who exactly? I don't really see anyone there.
God's Reign's going to play it passive. We all know. God's Reign, when the situation calls for it, that's the only time they will actually force. But right now, they have no reason, no intention to actually force any sort of fights.
This thing has also propelled them in the top 4 itself, 4 elimination points, where they were just catching out any kind of lurkers who were coming in from the ferry pier bridge.
Actually, the top 2. But yeah, having a look at the replay of the fight between the players of NINZA, Victor Sumus, Likitha Esports as well, was a part of that fight. And this is how NINZA lost a few players in the scuffle, right? Victor Sumus, they're a completely different story. And for the first time, you see Victor Sumus actually taking a fight in the power play itself. It's been a while since we've seen that aggressive Victor Sumus. At the moment that happened, Victor Sumus was not able to come out on top. And look at the Esports. Oh, man. They've got a lot to say.
If there's anyone who can translate what he was saying.
He was angry. He was angry.
I mean, please don't let us know.
I would like to know.
DMs.
The God's Reign with 4 elimination points. God's Reign's chilling. Not really forcing things at all.
They can't anymore.
Good in the hood.
There's just nothing. Too many teams out here and
yeah,
too many risks to eventually try and take, maybe to figure out where they are.
Things looking extremely stable. Revenant X Park as of now, though, with how things are for them.
It's going to fiddle out everything.
Yeah, probably that's what it seems like. Specifically, with just a 3-man squad. I'm not exactly sure what Revenant X Park can do against a team like God's Reign if God's Reign do hurdle up. But I'm pretty sure God's Reign is going to try to play for that split, get as much map control as possible.
They've got the full Western frame, man. I don't think so they need anything else apart from that. Once the circle shifts, that's when they're going to be forced to make some moves, though. But I'll have to say, Sensei's calls for his team are going to have been pretty good. The only very solid compound out in the circle, apart from NoNx, is in the hands of Revenant X Park, and that too is where Trace is. Fierce is constantly making sure that the backlines are clear, there's no one there. Fury as well is moving in the vehicles. He's trying to figure out where the rest of the players are. It's exactly what Neo is also doing down south. And look at the real estate this bro is taking.
Yeah.
I mean, hello.
Just hope that he does not actually get caught, though.
Huh?
He's committing a crime. And if he does get caught, True Rippers, they will reap the benefits. That will be 1 free elimination point, and if it's going to be the impact player taking it, 2 right there.
Kyo.
For God's Reign, Delta is the impact player, and he has acquired 2 so far. If those 2 elimination points were also in the power play, that's just going to be quadrupling up. That means that's 8 points right there. But if it's not in the power play, then that's 4 points, which is still fair if you think about it.
It's like a power play being activated for you for the entire game.
For just 1 player, pretty much.
Yeah. They're going to be pretty happy about it. Let's see, though. As we have a look at the replay of one of the previous fights. It was the members of Reckoning. So, the Tripa is coming in thanks to that vehicle. Such an anticlimactic way to end the replay, but alright.
Pretty much.
Hey, I'm not really leaving a Qnix Agira R like that.
It's fine. The players have got better vehicles.
Hey, yo. It's my favorite.
Hold on to that thought. God's Reign at this moment just want to find some sort of peace. And since so many teams were eliminated in the early fray, everyone's now playing it extremely passive. It's going to be a slothy game. We know that. But God's Reign being favored by the zone, and True Rippers now will be forced to make it in. And this is where the real fights will start to begin now. We will at least see 1 or 2 teams get eliminated in this zone itself.
Yeah. And probably 1 or 2 of those teams, it's going to be either NoNx MyG lost Hermanos or True Rippers with the way how they are moving right now. Area has been stolen away from Neo. They still have the hill control. But it's a fully open area out in front of you. They've got to be so very careful. Alright, at least they repaired the hovercraft.
True Rippers. Oh, now making that rotation. Making a move away from that spot.
They're just gaining the info.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to this hovercraft? Fire on it? Go ahead.
And of course, later on, they can prepare it as well. Just look at Keo, the amount of nades the man's got. He's got 8 grenades on him. And those 8 nades, I'm pretty sure in the final few moments, the man's just going to keep on bombarding the grounds nearby. God's Reign spotting out the players of Revenant X Park. It's a solid cover RNTX is playing in. But soon the cover, they will need to leave it. Move out in the open, and that's where the real problems might just strike them.
Yeah.
One of the players from the side of Revenant X Park now inside of the shack. And the only reason why he's there, it's just because to have some sort of control and to have some sort of spread.
Maybe gain some extra bit of information though, but just one nade, it's going to end the life of Fierce.
That's the exact concern, right? And slowly and steadily, the entirety of RNTX is now starting to move inside of the shack.
Why?
They know there's no one really in that nadeable range, which makes a lot of sense too. But since the zone is going to keep on shrinking, of course, sooner or later, teams will be in that nadeable range and problems will start to happen to you.
One of the big things...
But then, if you do not really go there, then where do you go? Exactly. In my opinion, go and take a fight against that one man isolated from God's Reign. Spread yourself out as well, just the way God's Reign have.
That is exactly my whole point, because eventually you don't have anything you'd be able to do from that one specific shack. You will be finished off with those nades once the teams get closer to you. And you can't really fight back from that position. It is not a place where you can fight back from. It is just a place where you can surprise the enemy from. Not much of a surprise if it's happening right in front of your eyes.
True.
Fury is the only man who's staying at the back line. So if Delta decided to stay put and fire in a few shots, Fury would have answered back.
Yep. But as of now, though, True Rippers, with how things are looking for them, I highly doubt things are going to be good. And unfortunately, one of the players actually does get dropped down. And this is what I expected. This is what we all knew was going to happen to True Rippers. They anyways needed to move out in the open, but True Rippers just chose the worst possible place to move out to. And now going for that revival on towards Fury is filled with a lot of risk because everyone is looking towards that same spot.
It's impossible.
Everyone wants to take down that one player. True Rippers now peppering those shots against that one man of God's Reign. He split out from the pack, and he wants to play purely for the map control. The zone actually shifts away towards Delta. And for God's Reign, Delta is now the casualty. God's Reign, both the players who are spread out towards the right side, they should back away towards Delta and go for that revival. That's what I personally think.
That's exactly what they're doing. He's already jumped back. He will be bringing his man back up on the feet. That gives time for Revenant X Park to actually move forward and maybe take that fight if they want to, but they are just not going for it.
No, it's just 2 players. Everyone's looking on that shack. NoNx as well with just a 2-man squad. Viper's knocked out. The revival's going to be there soon, but True Rippers, they send it! And God's Reign, now they start to fall apart! I love this move from True Rippers. It makes a lot of sense. Playing a classic systematic game of BGMI. And it's working out to perfection. MyG lost Hermanos, Shadow just driving around inside of the vehicle constantly. It's by in the back lines. NoNx as well towards the right.
How the heck did this turn into a 2v2v2v2? V2.
Yeah.
It's like all 5 Ts with just 2 players remaining. You thought NoNx was not an advantage? Think again. It's not a squad game, it's a duo game now.
Hey, but that's what happens when teams actually do end up eliminating themselves quite early, right? In the end, you just do not really have a lot of people to shoot at, and then you start making a lot of errors. But True Rippers, at least as of now, unfortunately, I was about to say as of now they are looking safe, but the moment I say so, there is that one man who's the casualty. NoNx, they're not going to stand a chance. The players needed to move out in the open, and MyG lost Hermanos collected those 2 free elimination points.
Yeah.
For True Rippers, Jelly, the only person standing. Let's see how this one's going to pan out for them now.
It's either Maiji Los Hermanos or it's going to be God's Reign. Technically, the circle will define which of them will have the advantage.
If Revenant X Park plays this smartly, it can be them as well.
Exactly. If the circle moves on towards them and one of the player leaves the shack, maybe takes control of somewhere around that drop by creating that hard cover, maybe that could be a supportive line though, but it shifts towards Maiji Los Hermanos. And I think so this kind of seals the deal as well.
Yeah, it should be their game on paper, and Maiji Los Hermanos as well. They should start spreading themselves out, be a little bit more proactive. That's what I personally think. But we never know what sort of terrain Maiji Los Hermanos is dealing with. Or maybe just play it passive. You know what?
Whoa!
Don't really go for that extra bit risky play. Oh,
okay,
the flames!
Jelly.
They start to engulf Jelly.
Okay.
But still the man's fine. Somehow, just on a pixel, Jelly's still standing. Eventually, Jelly's safe, but the utilities now that are being tossed towards Jelly, it's really ripping the man to shreds. Jelly's taken down at just 1 HP. Delta Prone's out in the open. He's waiting for Jelly to make some sort of mistake. But no, instead, Jelly will be the one to fall down, but God's Reign, they will not have a lot of chances to make it out alive anyways.
It's going to be Revenant X Park now, and sitting back onto them. Delta taken down on his knees. Destro and Delta, both of them remaining up strong, solid. But they've got to go ahead against Revenant X Park and Maiji Los Hermanos. Shots being fired onto Trace God as he tries to make a move in as well. He wants to take Destro down, but still stops the vehicle just on the other side of the road. Ready to cook up the nade, moves out in the open. But that's just what he needs. Fierce destroys him. And now it's down to the last 2v2.
Maiji Los Hermanos, with how things are, this actually can be their game. And Revenant X Park can't slip out onto it unless Maiji Los Hermanos makes a rookie mistake, just like they did previously losing out on Colin. But Revenant X Park as well, that's a team that does pack a lot of punch, and Trey Scott is still alive.
RNTX have won this. Look at where they are.
Definitely a big chance.
Look at where Blue is going to push the players to.
The Blue's going to start a move, but you never know, man. Still, Los Hermanos technically do have a bit of that upper edge.
If there was Kalan, I would have said, yeah, maybe that could be the case.
Even a slight high ground can change the entire course of the action.
They do have that high ground, yes, but at the same time, they'd be visible to the other side. And the fun fact is, you have to move down the hill.
Yep. It is understandable as well. But let's see, if Maiji Los Hermanos, they've got enough utility smokes, maybe. They can toss out a smoke pathway.
Maybe.
Then try and move around that same block.
Are they going to have that? That's the question, because they've been constantly fighting for such a long time, and then they spend a couple of zones just in that one compound. That could be a big question.
Remember in Stage 4, we only had 5 teams?
Yeah, exactly.
And now we have passed on so many stages. We're already towards Stage 9. And even that's about to end soon. Blues collapsing. Revenant X Park now. The position's noticed. Fierce behind the tree. He knows the man's out in the open, and Fierce is the one to find the first strike. Spy, the last man standing for Maiji Los Hermanos, and they've already messed up. We can already see this game slipping away from Maiji Los Hermanos. Spy, he's playing like a spy himself. Prone in the grass, waiting for the right moment to strike, but Revenant X Park, they're not really going to be making a lot of errors in this fight. And Spy now pops back up, and what? It was Maiji Los Hermanos to come out on top in that duel. How did this happen?
Massive performance from Maiji Los Hermanos, knocking onto Trace God first and then pinning down the position of Fierce. And guess what? I was mentioning that Revenant X Park should have the zone advantage. Maiji just crossed almost over towards the curvature of the hill.
Oh my god.
And then held on to that position, moved in a bit more towards center than Fierce.
Till the end, I generally thought it is Revenant X Park's game.
Everyone thought.
Yeah, even you thought it, right? We all pretty much knew, we all pretty much thought that it is Revenant X Park's game, but then Spy just holds down that same prone position just 1 second longer, and he wins that duel.
Insane.
Oh my god. Finding that pick on towards Trace was so cheeky. And this is how Trace was knocked out at the start.
Yes.
Shadow as well. That's why his position was revealed. Shadow got taken down in the end. but I generally thought this was Fierce's game. But Spy, he was constantly on the move, on the prone, and that's why he was able to squeeze himself a little bit better than that player in the front. Before now, it's time for us to toss to a short break. You guys do not go anywhere because the accent is just getting fired up even more.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
Welcome back after that short break, and yes, mind you, lost Hermanos somehow snatching it away in that final few moments. But the way they lost on Colin in the initial moments, honestly speaking, that was a massive blunder. Imagine if Colin was alive in the final few moments. That would have been an easy chicken dinner, but at least they got it in the end, so that's all that matters, right?
I'm more thinking about the fact that he's the impact player of the team as well. So
that's what I was thinking as well.
Those extra position points, or rather those finish points that you could have eventually received, those were the main things that could have boosted a little bit more to Maiji lost Hermanos, right? Because they're not that far ahead of team's position from 13 to 16th. So I think so in order to create that question and maybe at least try and pass themselves in the top 8, that needs to be the key. So they've got to stop making those mistakes.
That is true. And at this point in time, look, it's understandable. It's a game. You're a human being. You're ought to make those mistakes. But that was one of those mistakes that was never supposed to happen. It is one of those mistakes that literally anyone can avoid. And Colin, with the way the man got picked off and instantly eliminated in the midst of all the 3 players surrounding that one man who was isolated. Now, that is unacceptable. But it's still completely fine. Maiji lost Hermanos, did recover in the end, did get a chicken dinner, so it's all good in the hood. And one thing is for sure, Revenant X Park, they've got a lot to say. Look at Fierce. This man is disappointed. He is angry.
He just looks angry. It's fine. He's not really angry out here, man. But here's the big thing. Fury was the main man who was supposed to stay alive because he was the main backup for Trace and Fierce. I think so. Fury needed to survive out there, and before moving out, he had to throw a few smokes, considering that's where Delta was knocked out as well, and that's where Destro went in to give the revival to his teammate. Jelly was firing the shots in that direction too, and I'm pretty sure he should have heard the vehicle moving in around as well, so that was a small, iffy mistake.
Of course, we've got the MVP of that previous game popping up on the screen with 5 finishes racked up and 56% finish contribution. Fierce, of course, this man was popping off on all the charts. Revenant X Park, at least they made it in the top 2, so it's still a massive performance for them. But a chicken dinner could have been the icing on top of the cake that they were lacking.
Yeah.
The second man in the stars of the match is also going to be Fury being the best companion, and then you've got Spy once again from Hermanos with 2 finishes being the finisher.
Big performance coming in from Spy as well, right? That one last fight with Fierce. Considering we know how good Fierce has been for such a long time, specifically in terms of be it up close and personal fights or those long-range assault fights, winning a fight against him, that means you're already doing pretty solid.
Pretty much, and at this point in time, if Hermanos keeps on moving up with this rate, we might just see them easily crack open that top 12, right? There's already a lot of races that are going on for that top 12. There's so many teams in the nearby proximity, just like Victoria's Sumus Team Aryan as well, are a part of that entire fight. But if a team like Hermanos comes in and scoops away that top 12 spot, it's definitely going to start to sting all the other teams.
And finally, another team that was eventually able to stop NoNx from constantly winning those chicken dinners. Because it was my Hermanos who eliminated them. But smart performance coming in from Spy over towards the end as well. Finally winning out that fight against Fierce onto that hill. Now, having a look at match rankings and how things went through. 30 points?
Probably. I mean, this match ranking should reveal a lot. 23 total points from Revenant X Park. Reckoning Esports getting 20 points in total, with also a bounty being claimed. So actually, Reckoning Esports, hold on. Slow and steady moves on the board. There's a big chance Reckoning Esports might just do even better in the future.
I'm pretty sure that they were able to claim the bounty of Soul as well, because that's the team they were fighting against. And it was a very scrappy fight, which we saw in the replay, where we did not really see the conclusion. This is the conclusion of that.
Wow, Reckoning Esports, that's really good. True Rippers as well getting 16 points in total. Mind you, Hermanos getting 16 as well after that chicken dinner. Not a lot of points, but still what matters is that you actually did get the recovery after such a massive mess up that they pulled off. Soul, you talked about them, a team that's currently got a bounty atop their skulls. They've only managed to get 2 points in that previous game. Team Aryan, of course, it was a massive disappointment from them. Metal Esports as well, just getting 0. Even that was quite disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, not really something we would really wanted to see. But Revenant X Park, man, considering that the start they were forced in, losing Sensei instantly, and then losing Fury down on his feet when they were fighting Aryan, 2v4, converting from that, that's a big, big game. God's Reign as well on the back of that performance, now on the second position. So Orangutan being dropped down 1 place each. Everything else, it's going to remain the same. Maji, Hermanos as well at the same place. Still a 21 points gap between them and True Rippers.
True that. I mean, the second page, though, at least luckily enough, Team Aryan did not really drop their position in the overall standings, right? Right there on the 16th spot. Right above them is 4TR, but 4TR is not really part of this lobby. They will be, though, in the future 2 games. But as if we look on the last page, Reckoning Esports, even they haven't really changed anything. They did get those 20 points, but those 20 points were not enough to change any sort of course for Reckoning Esports in the overall standings.
At least now they're pretty close to those 300 point mark at. Right, 290 points right now, and then 308 is where the next team stands. So, in terms of momentum, they're doing something. It's not really going as slow as the good strain, which we saw all the way back in week 1 and week 2, right? It's not that consistent struggle. We're at least seeing them put up the performance. We're seeing them win the fights. That's where they were lacking the most.
It's understandable that Reckoning Esports now needs to bring up much more bigger performances. And here's the thing, right? As the games keep on passing by, even the lead on top just keeps on getting solidified even better. So Reckoning Esports, this is pretty much the prime example of it, right? You even got 20 points in that one game, and still that was not enough. But something that's enough for you guys is also going to be the Duolingo English test, which is trusted by 6,000 plus universities, and I would recommend you guys to take it as well. And do let us know how it went for you guys. But as I was saying, now for the teams at the bottom, they definitely do need nuclear performances back-to-back, and that's the only thing that's going to save them. But for now, let's move on to a short break. We'll be right back on the other side.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, 0 stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What's the cheat code, bro?
No code.
So, a script then, or a bot?
No script.
Alright, class, for today's lesson.
I already taught her something.
Welcome back after that short break, and with how the action's turning out to be so far with the Impact Player System Live, things are of course getting quite wicked. Just like this bike in front of you, the Deadpool and Wolverine brings you the most wicked ride yet, featuring first in segment GTT boost mode, best in class torque, and a cluster loaded with 85 plus features to keep you connected on the go.
Considering how beautiful it is looking, I'm definitely stealing away that Deadpool variant. Really do that. Don't worry about that, people. But yeah, I'm gonna buy that.
Maybe we can. Who knows?
Absolutely, we gotta keep that as a surprise.
When it goes dark.
We always talk about that though. But here's the thing: something that's not really going to go dark is going to be that schedule, which just popped up on our screen. Miramar, next map, and we've always been talking about how Revenant X Park loved to play on this map. And if you really want to watch how they want, or rather how they normally play on that, you can have that multicam feature that's available on Jio Hotstar.
Yep.
And it's not just that team; it's also SAQL. Soul, rather, Genesis, Medal. You can watch either one of those teams' specific POV only on Jio Hotstar.
Pretty much. But hey, something that's going to help you guys with your gameplay is also going to be the OnePlus CE5 with 120 FPS gaming, monster battery, and segment's biggest VC cooling. This is one of the best devices you can get your hands on, so I'd recommend you guys to go on and check out the OnePlus CE5. But back towards the conversation that we're having, right?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, OG is also one of those teams that in the previous game were not able to perform that well. And the only reason why that happened is because there were so many teams around the edge lines. Yeah. And of course, you got to thank TWOB for spoiling OG's game, right?
It indeed was the case, because TWOB just trailing them firing shots got the attention of true rippers. But would something like that detain OG from performing on the map of Miramar? We'll just see right now, ladies and gentlemen, as over the deserty land flies this lush green plane, which is moving all the way from Torre Ahumada down south towards Minas del Sur. Not really centralized, tilted a bit more towards southwestern part, but I think so anyone can go anywhere from this plane.
Yeah, I mean, if the teams do want to move in towards LSR, of course they can go towards that proximity as well. But unless if you want to move in towards Puerto Paraiso, Impala, now that's going to be a tough stretch. Maybe go for a pit stop, get your hands on some basic loot, weaponry, and then move in towards those designated drop spots. Probably God's Reign is going to be one of those teams that might just need a reroute, since they like to drop towards Puerto Paraiso.
You mentioned about that, and they're directly dropping in over towards the Bronca part, or just north of Al-Azhar as well. So it's going to be very big play coming in from the team as well. But here we go. Moving towards the left-hand side as well, as we are seeing, you know, they like to drop off early on over towards La Cabrera, but there's also another team that's close to them. And it's going to be FS. Seems like they want to claim the bounty this time.
Yeah, probably. It would be fun to see FS Esports They definitely do have that spark in them.
GG's.
They definitely do want to make a bounce back as well. But Soul, the way they're isolating the duels, it's looking perfect. And Soul, this coordinated play is actually going to strike down one of the players of NoNx as well. They already do find the man advantage inside of the fights, but still, a lot of shots are taken across the board. You never know who's going to be safe where. With Esports. If they really want to, things can still be flipped around. But they will need to play a perfect game. A systematic dismantle will be required.
Yeah.
And at this point, for Soul to do anything bad,
nice.
I highly doubt so. Utility, it's going to rain down a bit of that terror and also that damage. Chips up the man extremely low. Soul, once again, with a massive advantage. And if the man really wants, if Knuckle really wants, he can push up close and personal and get that elimination racked up. Soul, I'm not even sure what they can do at this moment, but one thing is for sure, being pinned in this spot is not a good look at all.
It's going to be very difficult right now, but at the same time, you talk about FS, right? One of the big thing is that the man Levi, who's actually got some good weaponries, he's the one who's super low in that HP, and the only thing he's got is the weaponries. No heals whatsoever, so he's got to try and stay there, out there. Lavish as well, on the rooftop. Trying to hear a lot of things with the cat ears of his. Everyone likes that.
Oh, but Lavish, with this position, the man definitely does have a lot of advantage, right?
But he's not getting any peaks.
Yeah, Soul is playing this pretty systematically well, but as you mentioned, he's not getting any peaks. That's the moment Goblin peeks out, and he's the one to get struck down first. Soul, they're also catching a bit of that hurt upon themselves, but now they definitely do want to cross on towards the opposite side, which is the house itself. Joker, he's the impact player for Soul, and he can definitely make a lot of impact happen. Even Levi goes down for FS, but FS, Lavish, he fights a second strike. What am I watching? Things are now quite back and forth in Soul. To defend this bounty is getting tough. They do not have enough men to try and defend this bounty down to Legit, still in the outskirts. Maybe he can find this knock onto Godex.
Oh my God.
Chipped up extremely low, still barely surviving on a sliver of HP. But here comes Reckoning Esports to spoil the dreams of FS. Things stopped. FS Esports stopped in tracks. There is still Godex alive in the far fray, but I highly doubt for too long as Reckoning Esports, they've already got the confirmations, and Soul's bounty, it's not claimable anymore.
And before Soul get eliminated, it's FS to bow down to them. Thanks to the shots in the far fray from Reckoning, if the fight prolongs for such a long time, it just invites other teams for the third party. And that's exactly what happened. And another thing that happened is also, people, that we've reached 1,000 finishes milestone as well in BGMS. That's an absolute big milestone coming in. And now they're going to flow in. Try to secure the rest of the members' position finishes as well. Lovely play from Reckoning, I'll have to say.
Reckoning Esports. 3 players now pushing in tandem against that one man of Soul, which is Knuckle. And I'm pretty sure Reckoning Esports is going to try to feed this elimination point to the man with the impact player. So let's see how Reckoning Esports is going to be executing this one. Max is the one to lead the pack as usual since he's got the impact player system active on him. And if Max is able to find that confirmation, that's going to be the icing on top of the cake. Knuckle, this man is desperately trying his best to defend the ground, but it's just getting even tougher. Eventually, he does get barreled stuffed to his death, and that's going to be it for Soul in this game. Reckoning Esports with a perfect third party. Things worked out pretty well. But man, the fight against FS Esports, it was so back and forth. Goblin and Joker exchanging a couple of words. Of course, mistakes were made. But FS Esports, they almost made a comeback in that game.
Almost, yes, I agree, but that almost was not enough right now. Reckoning as well, facing the wrath of Revenant X-Park. Could not claim one bounty, but the second one is just walking into their arms. But guess what? They're too big to be held. And arms too weak to collect. One member falling already down as Fury. Locked in an 8 though, did not really do anything apart from revealing his own position, and he does not have the best weaponries for the fight.
Oh, look at Revenant X-Park pulling off some cheeky moves, because they know they've already found the knock, so Revenant X-Park wants to push up close and personal and amp up that fear even more. make sure that the opponents are terrified of their presence. But the fight is a 4-on-3. And Revenant X Park, they've lost out on yet another player. Their bounty can actually be gifted to the players of Reckoning. Oh my god, there's a possibility. Reckoning Esports, they were able to claim a bounty in the previous game as well, and now a chance to claim another bounty in this. What is Reckoning Esports doing? Oh my god! This is insane from them! Destroying teams that stand in front of them in the power play. And Revenant X Park, they've been eliminated from this game. A bounty gifted to Reckoning Esports.
Sensei mollied himself.
Oh my god.
The runaway. The runaway from the fight.
Imagine that's got a sting to the players of Reckoning Esports.
You know what? Hunt them in the next game. That they can't.
That bounty was theirs, but Sensei, as you mentioned, mauling himself to death. Revenant X Park just denying that bounty and denying the possibilities of Reckoning Esports coming up with a nuclear performance in this game, but the game's not done yet.
Yeah,
it's still going on, and Reckoning Esports can definitely snatch a few more elimination points away.
It's the big thing, right? 7 finishes already coming into the power play itself.
And Max is the impact player. That's 3 elimination points for Max himself, so how much is that in total?
And that's going to be a lot of numbers out here, though. But I think so. For this week, the impact player is going to be Javin.
Oh, it's Javin.
Yeah, so 4 points from him, let's just say, and then rest of the players, all of those points being doubled out. So 12 plus 4, 16 points already being gained, right? That's actually pretty solid.
So my question is, when Knuckle, or there was that one man from Seoul who was isolated towards the compound, why was Max the one to push up? It should have been Javin. They should have let Javin go. Since he was the impact player, I mean, that would have been quadruple the points.
Maybe they're just not really focusing down on Javin pushing out. Maybe they're just trying to get their own things back in the field, right? Maybe just oiling the machine so that it starts to function, which they've been lacking for such a long time.
Yeah, they definitely need oil up.
Yeah, so I think so that's really what they're focusing on right now. So at least their 4-on-4 fights are now looking much better than what they were previously.
Of course. Reckoning Esports, they've got better timing when it comes to third parties as well. Now they seem a little bit more in touch with each other.
What is this circle?
The circle shifting towards Power Grid and Montenuevo. It's right between both the territories.
Look at Southeast.
There's a lot of teams now making that rotation.
That's more populated than the entire population of Delhi NCR.
Okay, I don't like that joke, honestly. It's kind of lame. I understand.
It's just the fact, man. You
know
the
thing.
It is
kind of lame.
That is true.
It was extremely lame. Like,
can I take
you
that
did not
back?
need to do that.
Can I take that
There was
back?
no need for you to say that.
Can I take that back?
No, it's too late. It's already out there on the internet now.
Hopefully no one listened to that. Production, please cut that for the last 30 seconds of what we were discussing. Please, I'll do that. It's from my memory right now.
Why would you even say that? Like, why?
I had a second of moment there, but I missed the opportunity.
You, man. Anyways, Metal Esports next to Likitha Esports. And oh boy, Metal Esports, they've walked into a death trap. It springs back to life in Likitha Esports. They already start things off with a massive advantage now. Venom, the man's taken down extremely low, and I love this aggression from Smoker. Pushes up, gets the confirmation, instantly backs away. But Likitha Esports should be even more aggressive. Stop Venom. That's an elimination point right there, lingering in front of you.
He's running.
Yeah, he's running away. He does not want to be part of the action anymore against the players of Likitha Esports. But Likitha knows he has to be in the close proximity since both the vehicles are over here.
But they can't really risk it, right? They've got no idea how many members would there be. Because they would rather not leave away the safety of their own compounds. That's why they're sending one player to constantly going for that drive-by. YG lost Hermanos as well, the winners of previous one. Making their camp at the foothill. I don't really like this position that much, but considering where things could go from here on out, yeah, I'd say it's pretty fine for now. They're open though from multiple directions, so that could something be where they'd have to be a bit more careful.
Team 0 finishes racked up so far for YG lost Hermanos. A slow and steady start this time. They claimed chicken dinner in the previous one. Do not want to be the one to attract a lot of smoke upon themselves. And Los Hermanos, they've already cracked inside of that top 12, right? We had a conversation about this. Victor Sumus pushed out on the 13th spot. Victor Sumus as well is now not going to feel too good about it. And let's remember this one thing. Luckily enough for Victor Sumus, they're playing all the 4 games today.
Tomorrow. But the main focus is eventually at the end of the Impact Player Week, every single one of them is going to end up at 8 games overall right now. The last 8 games though, Necro, if we really think, talk and see about it.
True.
Because you've got the Impact Player activated for the next 2 days as well. So you'd want to try and make use of that as much as possible, considering especially that you'll have only one of those days where you've got all the 4 games. Apart from that, 2 games each. So right now the more focus will be on OG, God's Reign, NoNx, Meta NINZA, who we really haven't been talking about that much. But this team, it's again vanishing.
They indeed are. And specifically with how things are, and how the things really started off the rip in this game as well. We did see that burst of life, but after that, things now quite settled, right? We're not really seeing a lot of action. It's once again quite a balanced approach, and I guess a lot of these teams did learn from that first game itself on exactly what happens if everyone starts contributing towards that chaos. But you cannot even blame the lobby. It was also the zone itself taking that curveballing shift and punishing everyone.
It was the flight path, and then the circle taking that kind of nasty shift, and then just...
You love to see those type of games, though. Let's be honest, right?
I do. I absolutely do.
I really want to see a zone shifting towards those 2 isolated islands on Miramar. On the right side, next to Impala. You want to see it as well. Come on.
I do want to, but there are certain wishes that are never really granted by the BGMI gods. So that's one thing. I'm pretty sure, you know, that there are certain odds for each and everything. And the odds of a circle forming on those 2 specific islands, I mean, that odd is going to be pretty less than you getting the Nyx and Sinistra set, bro.
And I've heard it's starting at just 10 UC. You can spin and unlock that, which is absolutely insane. But the only bad news is that it's only for limited time, so I'd recommend you guys to do it as soon as possible. But yeah, for God's Reign, in that previous game, they were there. Top 3. God's Reign messed up big time since they had a massive split. Especially Delta, who was spread out in that game, got knocked out by the players of True Rippers. That was a perfect thread in the needle.
Is it just me, or does it feel like whenever it's a very easy military-based circle which God's Reign is supposed to win, they end up just being in the top 5 and not really claiming the chicken dinner, versus when it forms on the very opposite end of the map? You talk about Georgopol City, maybe somewhere up north around Stolber. You'd eventually see Destro bringing in his boys at just the right time, and then they've got the entire map.
True. God's Reign's playstyle's always been around the edges, right? That's how they like to play. But God's Reign's playstyle, the only thing that really makes it unique is that they do not really assert dominance on the edge. You will never see God's Reign play aggressive on the edge lines. The classic rulebook of BGMI says if you're playing on the edge, you have to be a dominant team. You have to be an aggressive team. But God's Reign, they're neither of that. They try to find themselves a safe spot around the edge, and they will play from that spot till the end.
True.
Unless if someone's contesting them, then they will of course fight back. But other than that, you will never see them fighting.
That is one of the big things that we always really talk about as well. Take their own sweet time right now, just like how OG are taking, and I'm not quite sure if this is the fight they would really want to take. You've got a lot of members on the other side, and AK just being snapped back. Now that man has eventually lost his own HP. He's got rid of... We'll try to save him though. Moving back into the safe space, but the question is, where are OG going to move from? You've got NoNx on one side. They move a bit too far left. There's TWOB on the other side. Just making a mad dash between both of those teams is insane.
TWOB though, I'm pretty sure they will not be able to sustain and survive that spot. Let's be honest. TWOB's firepower, it's lacking big time. We haven't seen them go for those proper fights either. And when they do go for it, they end up losing it. So playing from a spot like that, TWOB will need to require a lot of dominance, which they lack clearly. But at least as of now, NoNx is one of those teams. Even they're playing from the edges. I love that split from Likitha Esports. They're right next to TWOB. And Likitha Esports, they've got a massive straight line split.
I like the split in terms of the amount of map control and information that you can gain. But this is not a split where you would want to pick fights.
You never know. It can actually work out as well.
Not
if
quite
they
sure.
have got things coordinated and planned out pretty well, I generally think Likitha Esports, this can work out pretty well. It can be wonders. But as of now, sumus, once again, it's another one of those passive teams that does not really want to go for the early game fights either. OG surrounding lines not too cleared out yet. And NoNx is now on the tail. And OG, they start to tuck their tails and make a run. From the back, they're catching a lot of hurt from the players of NoNx. And I think he's got his buggy right next to him. He wants to make the great escape. And the moment he smokes out the buggy, he will get back inside of it and try and run away from this spot. But here's the main concern. There is Mighty Los Hermanos right front. And Mighty Los Hermanos, they've got a different problem brewing up. It's in the name of Victorious Sumus. And Victorious Sumus, they devour Los Hermanos.
And that eventually gave Atanki a space to run from. It's a circus that's happening around and playing with all of our heads. But that is just insane. There was only one man of Mighty Los Hermanos knocked out there, though. So that's one thing. Atanki was able to make that rotation. And now OG can gatekeep the members of not just Likitha Esports, TWOB, and NoNx.
It's a classic game of Miramar. Everyone's got a line of sight on everyone. Because majority of the teams are out there in the open. They're just playing behind the ridges. They're quite susceptible to the utilities.
It's like the guerrilla warfare. The trenches all the way around.
Not exactly, but I do understand.
Yeah, kind of.
It sort of forms up like that, but the ridges over here are different.
True.
Right? These ridges, you are too prone to get naded. One util tossed, and you will be down. But that's the best part about Miramar, right? Teams are so exposed. The zone as well usually exposes these teams. And now for NoNx getting wrapped up from the back like that, it's another massive threat they need to deal with. But TWOB, I highly doubt they will continue this game plan since they know there's NoNx in the front. And God's Reign, though, they need to continue whatever they're doing, at least as of now. It just did! He had no clue that Cyrax was moving up, but he still slaps him down! Cyrax losing that duel now puts the entirety of Team AX in a bad spot. And Team Aryan to bounce back from such a bad spot is going to be extremely tough. But Henry, he still shuts down Justin. But Neo inside of the house, he takes down every single remaining person of Team Aryan.
That's a big one coming in because they lost a couple of members as well to them. It was brought down to the last 1v1 which Neo won. Denying not just 4 but rather 10 more bounty points. Metal Esports decided to make their own move as well onto that exact same fight, but now retreating back to safety. Kind of wanted to see them fully commit to that fight as well, but not really happening. And you were mentioning about the decision-making of TWOB. They've been giving the individuals, they've been picked apart individually.
I told you, TWOB is not really too strong when it comes to going for those squad fights. The communication is always off, and it's not just about the communication as well. It feels like they're just not parallelly matched with the lobby. There's a skill gap, that's what it feels like.
True.
Which is honestly not a good thing to say, I understand. We're currently casting a tournament, which is quite massive, but it is what it is. That's what we witnessed, and that's what we're going to say.
Flock fired just a couple of shots, warning the members of God's Reign that he's there. And now he's going to go reposition back for this team. Not committing into this fight, just wants to gatekeep the members. I absolutely love this approach.
Indeed.
Holding down the members of God's Reign, and they don't really have anywhere else to go. If they decide to move up north, they're not just going to have to tank the blue, but they'll eventually face True Rippers. Go south, you've got Medal. Go south and that, Victor Simmons. Good luck.
True that. You've also got God's Reign, who might just be a little bit of a trouble if you do go for an instant third party. And Godsrain at this point in time is waiting for someone to create that distraction. But instead, Justin, the man, was too exposed. And in the end, Godsrain themselves just evaporate into thin air. It was ought to happen. It happens.
Nice play by Reckoning again. Just holding their ground down. That's technically another bounty team, which they haven't really claimed properly. It's unfortunate for them. It's not 1, not 2, 3.
Yeah. And it's back-to-back games now. We've seen a few bounties not even being claimed by the teams, even though they got extremely close. They almost sniffed it. They were about to eat it, but the play was stolen away from them.
For a few more seconds, they'd eventually end up fighting OG, I'm telling you.
Okay, let's see.
All 4 teams in one game.
Definitely a possibility, but with Sumus, I'm loving the fact that we're seeing them put on a bit of that aggression. Playing with more dominance and firepower. At least going for the fights now, not just playing it passive. I understand it's also the terrain forcing the players with Sumus to actually go for the fights, but at least they're doing something. At least they're taking the initiative.
Beautiful, yep, I agree. Constantly stepping onto that gas as well, and then gatekeeping the rest of the members too. OG now being the nemesis of NINZA that they always have been. Another nade going in, perfectly claiming the life of everyone. Atanki, he's trying to gatekeep the members of Victorious Sumus as well, who will now be barged in by NoNx. Third party coming in instantly. A trifecta to maintain the victor of South, to maintain the control of the South.
Oh, I don't get it. Victorious Sumus, the moment we saw them engulf the opponent teams, now they're the one who are on the receiving side.
Oh, look at the flank from Viz.
Yeah, of course. OG at this point in time, it definitely does feel like they will devour the entirety of NoNx, and not just them, maybe even Victorious Sumus. They will be in the crossfire soon. Kolyuk falls down as even he gets devoured. But Victorious Sumus, they need to be quick on the feet. Back away from this spot. It's not a good spot to be in. And that's what jahan was trying to do. But he gets caught in that rotation.
Big aggressive gameplay coming in from OG right now. It's all down to Mafia remaining. And one more member.
Oh my god.
Lovely clearance of the entire South.
Within a moment, OG just cleared out 4 teams around them. That is some insane stuff from OG. OG's now like the cleanup crew, just cleaning and mopping the floor with the dead bodies of the foes.
Back in the game with the ball.
True Rippers with 3 elimination points so far. True Rippers is now the one to actually execute that passive gameplay. True Rippers will not be able to get a lot of points for this game if they do end up winning it, but it would still be something that might just bring the win back in the sails.
That could definitely be the case. I really want to see them now step onto that aggressive gas as well, right? Again, iQOO being that impact player, not 1 out of those 4 finishes going to him. Not the correct way.
True Rippers. 4 elimination points gathered only. And you spoke about iQOO being the impact player. He's got none. But OG, hold on. This might just be a fight where the tables can be flipped. And if Victorious Sumus they do manage to pounce on, things can be better for them. But for Victorious Sumus, just one glimmer of hope. He will not be able to do anything as even Pro gets wrapped up in a sheet and sent back packing to the home.
9 finishes being claimed by OG.
They're on a tear.
Entire South for them. But there's now 3 teams remaining. And Likitha Esports are in the dead center.
True Rippers, they've got a lot of control. And this 2-2 split from True Rippers, let's see if it's going to work out or not. Likitha Esports can definitely be the spanner in the works. And speaking of Likitha, they've always been that annoying pest, right? Likitha Esports, they just never really close things off. But you will always see them in the top 5, at least spoiling things away for someone.
At least we get a decent bit of entertainment. Focusing down as well. They're going to be fighting from multiple directions. So that's going to be big. OG, they're the ones who are actually deciding to slam on the compound.
I'm not sure how well it's going to work out, but the moment this fight happens, there will also be a third party instantly happening from the side of True Rippers. And you can instantly see the players of True Rippers gathering up as well.
Wizgod is the only man.
Wizgod, yes, trying to hold down the entirety of that flank. But I'm pretty sure If WizGod gets knocked out, OG will fall on top of their faces and they will be backstabbed instantly. WizGod, he's got a lot of duty on his shoulders. And as long as Hydro does not get close, it's all good. But OG, I like this, spreading themselves out.
Oh, Atanki.
Making sure that they're not really going to be vulnerable to those utilities and the backstab anymore.
Atanki's out in the open. And he doesn't have any idea about Hydro. He can be taken down instantly. Shots being fired. The return coming in from the other side as well, though. He's still going to survive by the skin of his teeth.
Indeed. And specifically for True Rippers, this 2-2 split they've got going. Not sure how exactly it's going to work out for them. Likitha Esports, 3 players around the side. And with how things are, Reckoning Esports, or OG, my bad, they might just start to engulf them slowly and steadily. The only reason OG is not able to pull off that dominant move is because of this one team. That is True Rippers. And that split True Rippers has, it's such a spanner in the works for OG.
To be very honest though, they were almost bitten by the shark. At the very end, they just kept their hand on the mouth of it and just diverted it away. Otherwise, this could have been very problematic.
It indeed could have been.
They eventually decided to hold it down now. It's down to again a 4v3v4. I'm pretty sure that OG, they've got to have that idea as well. One of the team is going to be 3 men. Just they don't know which one.
And OG,
info game.
They're just waiting for the zone to collapse. They're just waiting for True Rippers to make some sort of mistake. Because there's no way Likitha Esports is going to go for any sort of peaks now.
Here's the thing. I don't think so True Rippers will make any mistake from this point on.
Yeah, they control the majority of the zone.
Exactly. They hold everything in the circle.
Oh my god, this is so tough for OG now.
OG will be probably the least favored team after this circle hits.
This has got to blow for OG. What are you supposed to do if you're Aru?
Win the fights. Force it from True Rippers and win the fights.
Yeah, but the main issue is the moment a fight happens, there will also be Likitha Esports third-partying it. So OG, they will need to go for heroic plays. That's the only thing that's going to save their sinking boat.
Exactly.
Every single person needs to win their one-on-ones. And Likitha Esports, they're just camping it straight up. Not even moving a muscle. Just hiding inside of the houses. And OG now tossing out a smoke trail. They want to move up close and personal against the players of Likitha Esports, and Smoker might just be the first man to face the players of OG. Utilities tossed out. Aru up close and personal against Smoker. He's right inside of that house. Smoker just waiting for the players of OG to make some sort of mistake. Now Smoker's position's noticed. He's getting forced by the entirety of OG. The fight happens, and Likitha Esports, they start to strike down OG. And within the blink of an eye, the entirety of OG, they collapse. But now it's True Rippers who step inside of the playing field. As Likitha Esports, they will be eviscerated from this game. True Rippers, calculated gameplay, methodical approach to the game, helps them secure that chicken dinner in a great fashion.
Phenomenal call coming in from Jelly. Just making sure that his team holds the entire ground. Did not overcommit even for a single second. Picture perfect performance coming in right by the book. But my question is, did Likitha Esports claim the bounty of OG?
That's a good question.
I saw 3 confirmations. I was about to see the 4th one as well, but I could not.
OG is one of the players who got dropped down the moment he breached in that smoke.
And that was Inferno knocking out WizGod. That's the whole point. I saw 3 players.
I saw Inferno.
He knocked 2 of them.
Twice in the elimination field.
He knocked 2 of them instantly. One was WizGod, one was second. I believe it was Adi.
You know what? Let's just stop putting in so many points. We will know exactly if they got the bounty or not the moment the match rankings will pop up. And you know what the advantage is of us being the commentators? We will know it way before the audience does.
That's the best part. Shots on you.
But yeah, I mean, instead of the replay, we might just be able to see if they were actually able to claim the bounty or not. And they did. They actually did. Before now, let's move on to the interview quickly.
फाइनल बैटल में 3 टीमें लिखिता स्पोर्ट्स ओजी जिनके चारों प्लेयर्स एक्टिव थे, लेकिन बाजी मारी है ट्रू रिपर्स ने। जली और कियो मेरे साथ। जली, सबसे पहले तो आपके बाकी खिलाड़ी जो हैं कहीं और थे, आपने अलग ही पोजीशन पकड़ रखी थी, कहाँ थे आप?
मैं राइट पे था कि कोई एक आध कैंपर अगर पीछे मिल जाए फ्री किल तो उसको देख लेता हूँ, बाकी मेरे तीनों सोल्टर्स मार देते हैं, तो वही सोच के था ये तीनों संभाल लेंगे, मैं 1-2 किल एक्स्ट्रा जो रहता है वो उठाने की ट्राई करता हूँ।
क्या सोच चल रही थी वहां पे, क्योंकि ओजी जो है वो भी मतलब एडवांस कर रहे थे और हमने देखा कि वो अग्रेसिव हुए और वहां पे उन्होंने अपनी जान गंवा दी, तो इससे आपको फायदा हुआ क्योंकि लिखिता ने वहां पे आपका काम आसान कर दिया था।
हम लोग को बताया था कि इवेंचुअली उनको पी कंपाउंड पुश करना ही पड़ेगा, पी जिस पे उन्होंने पुश किया, और हम लोग इसलिए बाहर बैठे रहते कि जब फाइट करने लगेंगे तो हम आराम से जाके पीछे से जाके आराम से जाके।
जली, यहाँ ना कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि अब टीम्स जो हैं वो एग्जैक्टली क्या सोच रही है। थोड़े टाइम पहले डेस्ट्रो से भी बात हुई थी, उसने बोला था कि जो टीमें 5 से 12 के बीच में खत्म करेगी उनको वो मोमेंटम जो है बरकरार रखने का मौका मिलेगा, बिकॉज आप ज्यादा मैचेस खेलेंगे। व्हाट इज योर थॉट इफ यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ ट्रू रिपर्स? आप टॉप 4 में फिनिश करना चाहते थे या 5 to 12 में फिनिश करना चाहते हैं, सो दैट आपका वो मोमेंटम जो है वो बिल्कुल कंटिन्यू रहे?
मैं बहुत क्लियरली बोलता हूँ, मैं टीम को पहले से लेकर यही बोला था कि टॉप 4 आ गए तो बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन नहीं है तो इतना कुछ फर्क पड़ता नहीं है, हम लोग टॉप 12 में आ जाएंगे और इजी क्वालिफिकेशन है, इतना मुश्किल होगा नहीं। तो फर्स्ट डे से लेकर लास्ट डे तक हम लोग यही सोच के चल रहे थे, हो जाए तो अच्छा है, नहीं होगा तो भी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
तो वैसे नहीं सुनता किसी की, सुन रहा है तो इसकी बात।
मेरा टॉप 4 आना सपना नहीं था गाइस, मेरा सपना 12 के अंदर आना था ताकि मैच खेलने वाले।
Alright, true rippers, a very happy unit. They picked up the chicken dinner, Jelly and Kyo बहुत खुश। लेंगे एक ब्रेक और लौटेंगे तीसरे मैच के लिए।
Do it like that. Do it like, do it like that. Do it like that. Do it like, do it like that. Do it like that. Do it like that.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
You forgot to charge your phone. Why won't you wake
Humble beginning हमेशा नहीं था स्टार यूसी लेने से पहले सोचता था 100 बार डर था बड़ा स्कैम्स का डाउट से हजार तब प्ले ओपी आया तो लगाई नया पर तो मैंने लिया यूसी सेव गेम किया रेस ले मेरे साथ यहाँ ड्रॉप्स एकदम हार्ड प्ले तेरे साथ ओपी तू भी कर ले स्टार्ट
Seems like Miramars are quite lucky for True Rippers and Jelly specifically. If you remember that one Miramar where we all thought that AP was the one that might just snatch away the game, but then we had iQOO all the way in the far fray. He was constantly beaming down the players, and he was the main reason why they got the chicken dinner. And now in this Miramar, we've got True Rippers once again snatching away chicken dinner. It's not a massive one, but at least it is something.
Absolutely. I mean, the best thing is at least they're not getting those finish points. They're not really getting those power play points as well. They are compensating it with this constant chicken dinners which we're talking about, and they don't really mind if they're not in the top 4. Being in the top 12 is the best thing that they are hoping for.
That's exactly what the man mentioned as well, right? It was not his dream to be in the top 4. His dream was to be in the top 12 so that they can play extra games in the semifinals, which honestly, if you think about it, makes a lot of sense as well, because they of course do want to have their hands warmed up as well before moving towards the grand finals itself. And as I mentioned, majority of the teams in the grand finals will move from the semifinals. So you will get a better practice of playing the grand finals before itself.
It's just like only the top 4 teams will not really be sitting out there, right? So that's the best part about it. And I think so. This is also one of the big reasons why there are a lot of teams who we eventually saw were on that top first place, second place as well. Yes, they had a dip in their performance as well, but I don't think so they're going to mind it that much. They'll be like, yeah, it's absolutely fine. Extra games in the semifinals, that's going to help us boost back up all the way into those grand finals as well. But here's the big thing, right? The teams who will be in the grand finals will be able to sit at home and watch those games so they can cook up some strategies.
Even for OG, that was quite a decent game, but OG getting claimed by Likitha Esports and also the bounty claimed by Likitha Esports, that's going to help the players actually do pretty good now in the overall standings. And we all know, Likitha Esports, they're kind of like a switch on and off. Mostly they're off, but sometimes when they're turned on, they actually do get a chicken dinner or at least get a decent bit of points.
You're talking about Likitha Esports or Marcos Gaming or Victoria Sumus or... I can keep on going on out of the entire list out there though, but there's a new name popping up in the MVP list after such a long time. It's going to be Pro from Victoria Sumus, which we just talked about. 5 finishes coming in for him, and you're going to be pretty happy about it.
Wait, I think so. This is like the first time we've seen anyone from the side of Victoria Sumus pop up in the MVP list.
Yep.
It is, I think so, the first time. Or maybe the second time, because the first time probably was when we saw Victoria Sumus getting drop clashed by 2 of the teams, and Victoria Sumus wrapped up 8 finishes in the power play, in the map of Sanhok.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's what it literally tells us, that how passive Victoria Sumus has been. Victoria Sumus rarely prioritizes any sort of fights.
Switch on and off, which you just really mentioned right now, so that's also the thing that eventually happens. But at least this time around, we were seeing them very aggressively all around those foothills as well. But my, oh my, the team that actually stole my heart was definitely Reckoning this time.
Yeah, Reckoning Esports with a perfect timing, third party the entirety of Soul Scuffle. Then later on, we also moved on towards Team Aryan, taking a fight against the players of God's Reign. It was quite a scrappy fight for God's Reign. Luckily enough, we're able to win that fight. It's all because of this one man, Neo. And then in the final few moments, we knew God's Reign did not really have enough men, so Reckoning Esports came in, claimed all those elimination points. In the end, we just had teams like OG, Likitha Esports, even True Rippers. And for OG, we all thought it should be a piece of cake, but the moment we realized the zone is actually shifting in the court of True Rippers, we all somewhere downline knew that this has to be a True Rippers game, and that's what happens.
It was a game of patience, and we have known Jelly to be one of the most patient IGL out here. And just showcasing the skills as well. Match rankings up on the screens, Reckoning with a total of 22 points.
Wait, they didn't get the bounty!
19 finish points coming in for Reckoning. True Rippers with the chicken. And yes, Likitha Esports did not get the bounty. It was that one last member of True Rippers when they were circling around them, finding that last knock.
Oh, that's going to be a knife in the gut. You were so close to getting those 10 additional points.
Hey, you said the same thing to Reckoning. They were so close on getting 2 times those 10 additional points.
I know, right? Yeah, for Reckoning Esports, they were so close to claiming those bounty twice, but out onto that. But still, they're at the top Up in the match rankings. Yeah, this is insane from Reckoning Esports. Just getting 3 placement points, but still having so many elimination points. And keep this thing in mind, Reckoning Esports in the first game had 20 points. Now in this game, they've got 22. Reckoning Esports, oh boy, they are on a completely different consistency.
Big start coming in for their side, considering that they were only playing 2 games, right? So averaging 40 points today.
Insane.
So they're going to be super happy about that moving in towards tomorrow, as well as we have a look at the leaderboard itself. Orangutan propelling themselves over Seoul, God's Reign, because again, not really having some great games now. True Rippers moving up over on top of 8-bit as well, but I'm pretty sure 8-bit is going to steal that spot away. Next 2 games are going to be theirs.
8-bit, as you mentioned, upcoming game's going to be 8-bit's game. You've also got Hero Extreme, Godlike stepping inside of the fray, so a lot of these teams now will once again be back in the action. Mind you, lost Hermanos, yes, I did see that. They have moved down, which is a little bit unfortunate. But let's just hope that in the future lines, Mind You Los Hermanos will be able to establish that comeback. And I generally think Mind You Los Hermanos, for them, it should be a piece of cake. But Reckoning Esports, look at that leap they've taken. Now on the 18th spot, I think in the weekends we might just see Reckoning Esports get closer to that top 12, and they might actually crack into it.
I was just about to say that. I mean, considering tomorrow goes a big day for Reckoning, I'm pretty sure maybe they're going to propel themselves all the way towards that top 12, or maybe can even barge in, right? We might end up having the discussion of if it's going to be Maiji Los Hermanos or if it's going to be Victor Simus, and then
or is it going to be Team Aryan or Reckoning Esports?
And then there's Reckoning Esports just running right past all of us, sprinting like anything. It's one of those cars meme that we always see online. Everyone's trying their best, and then there's this one car randomly rocking through it. So Reckoning could definitely be that team, maybe.
I know, right? Just imagine bombing the first 2 weeks, but then in week 3, that too at the end, you make a comeback, and everyone's jaws are dropped. And everyone's wondering, wait, how did you just do that? How was that even possible? And Reckoning Esports would be surprising all of us. That would definitely be the best possible circumstance if that does come through. But generally speaking, with the average points Reckoning Esports is moving away with, I don't see the day too far away from now.
I agree, because again, 20 points in every single game. Your impact player right now isn't even taking the charge, considering one game where he eventually pops up like anything.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think so. That's going to be pretty solid, right? And tomorrow you've got 2 Erangels, 1 Miramar, only 1 Sanhok. We'll just keep Piano because it's fine. So yeah, there's going to be a very nice possibility out here right now. But another possibility for us is to know what Power thinks about what's going to happen in the next 2 games. So let's send it all to him.
Alright, so I have with me Power, and Power, see, Somraj, आपका AGL, he has won all the trophies. और आप जिस टीम में जाते हो, वहाँ पर भी ट्रॉफी की conversations होती हैं, being the prince of BGMS. I do want to know one thing, क्या आप ही वो कड़ी बनोगे उसके लिए जो उसको इस सीजन की ट्रॉफी दिलवा रहा है?
क्या पता, ट्रॉफी मिल भी सकती है, नहीं भी मिल सकती है, वो तो ऊपर वाले का प्लान है. बट हम लोग अभी बहुत डाउन चल रहे हैं, कर लेंगे थोड़े टाइम में, वैसा वाला प्लान है.
एंड इसी डाउन की मुझे बात करनी है यार. एक टाइम पर आप ऑलमोस्ट वो बाउंटी वाली कॉन्वर्सेशन में आने वाले थे, टॉप 4 में घुस रही थी टीम, काफी अच्छा कर रही थी. देन तबीयत बिगड़ने के कारण चीजें खराब हुई. क्या हुआ, लाइक वो डाउन फेज कैसे आया टीम का?
डाउन फेज वही, तबियत खराब हुआ सबका, तो तबियत खराब हो गया. उसके बाद गेम डाउन हुआ, गेम डाउन होने से कॉन्फिडेंस डाउन हुआ. तो अब वो कॉन्फिडेंस हम लोग अभी तक रीगेन करने की ट्राई कर रहे हैं, और अभी सभी का तबियत अच्छा खासा रिकवर हो चुका है. मेरा भी बस एक्वा का फिजिकल जो फिंगर वाला पेन है वो प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है, जिसकी वजह से वो अभी हमारे साथ खेल नहीं रहा. बट हम लोग अभी कॉन्फिडेंस रिगेन करने की ट्राई कर रहे हैं, और इवेंचुअली हम लोग कर लेंगे अडैप्ट.
एंड डू यू फील राइट नाउ, जैसे आपने बोला सब चीजें बेटर हो रही हैं, इज द टीम एट 100% राइट नाउ?
नहीं, 50% भी नहीं है, वुड से.
वेल आई मीन अभी सैनॉक आने वाला है, एरांगल आने वाला है. क्या गेम प्लान है आज?
गेम प्लान तो हमारा यही है कि हम लोग को अच्छा करना है, बट एट द एंड वो हम कर नहीं पाते क्योंकि हम लोग का गेम प्ले अभी बहुत डाउन चल रहा है. बट मेरे को भरोसा है अपने लॉन्डो पे, और उनको भरोसा है मेरे पे, तो कर लेंगे.
I just wish you all the very best, and I'll see you in the game.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 Series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, 0 stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back after that short break, and now on the panel with me is Shadow. As we know, it's the third map of the day. It's the map of Sanhok. We're also going to see a shuffle in the groups, as Group A is now going to be the one to take the backseat, and Group C will be the one to hop inside of the action, which means teams like 8-Bit, Mad Kings, 4TR, Hero Extreme, Godlike, Phoenix Esports, K9 Esports, Global Esports will be a part of it.
Of course, 4TR, Phoenix Esports, these are two names who are still on the last page of the overall ranking. Even Mad Kings, I was having a conversation with the other talents that when the event started, we had such huge expectations from the side of Mad Kings, a newly formed lineup of Lala, such an experienced veteran player, Team Aryan. They come up with such experience. Still, despite all of that experience, these teams are still struggling.
True. And if the struggles keep on continue, we will see them move on towards the playoffs, where of course it is going to be the worst possible scenario for you, where you've only got 4 games to prove your worth, and if you're not able to make a comeback, well, unfortunate, unlucky for you, my friend. But hey, something that's going to be extremely lucky, or maybe good for you guys if you're lucky enough, it's going to be this Nixon Sinistro set starting at just 10 UC. You can spin and unlock it. It's only for limited time, so make sure you guys are getting your hands onto it.
Of course. Pratt recently told me that he's going to gift me a set.
Oh, he's not.
Oh, of course he is. Just because, Necro, you are not that generous doesn't mean others are also
Or
not.
maybe Necro is broke and Krat is rich. Have you thought about it?
We all know that you are not broke.
Okay, well, we all also know that Krat is extremely rich. That man's loaded.
No, he's generous.
No, he's got a lot of money. We all
You
know
need
that.
a big heart. It's not about money. You need big heart. You need to be rich by
Well, if
heart.
you look at me, everyone knows I'm pretty big, so of course I've got a big heart as well. It's not about that. I'm just broke, straight up. But you know what? Who are not broke? The teams that are currently sitting at the top. God's Reign is also a part of it. Soul as well is a part of it. Revenant, X-Park, OG, even they're a part of it. And generally speaking, we are definitely seeing those fluctuations happen in the top 4 consistently. Or at least that 4th spot is being switched over and over again. But now that Genesis Esports is back in action, we might just see that 4th spot snatched away by Genesis Esports soon if they play with the same form they were playing. And we all know Hunters is back in that impact player rule. And we all know what happened in week 1.
And maybe even the players of Hero Extreme Godlike can also do the same thing because they are sitting on the 6th spot, if I'm not wrong.
Somewhere around
Yeah, they have got 2 more matches remaining. So there is a very high possibility that Genesis and Hero Extreme Godlike, either of them or maybe both of them, can be in the top 4. Especially the way RNTX has been performing. The first Erangel was pretty decent. But what really happened in the map of Miramar? They came for the third party and seems like they were the one who got hunted down.
True that. I mean, it's a solid point that you brought up about Hero Extreme Godlike. We also need to focus on Omega himself. And you know what? Speaking of Omega, let's move on to this video.
आपके पुराने खिलाड़ी अक्षत और अब नए खिलाड़ी स्लग के बारे में आपका क्या कहना है?
स्लग और अक्षत तो बहुत डिफरेंट है, मतलब बिल्कुल ऑपोजिट है, बट इनका कुछ नेचर ऐसा है जो सिमिलर है और जो मुझे पसंद है। बट अब अक्षत तो है नहीं, वो अपने घर के कामों में बिजी हो गया है, तो उसको मिस तो करूंगा मैं। बट हाँ, एक छोटा भाई है मेरे पास अभी, एक नहीं 3 है।
Omega, speaking of how K9 Esports is now more than a family to him, and those three guys next to him, the three assaulters, they're now like the little brothers for the man. And recently Omega, he's been quite the calm, cool person, right? He's not the same Omega that we saw all the way 3 years back. We are not seeing that same aggression from the guy. He's now much more calm, cool, collected. And that also resembles inside of the game. K9 Esports is not playing aggressive. They're playing for the final few moments. They're playing that survival gameplay at the start.
It's because they were struggling. If you remember, they were on the struggling end. If they come in on a comfortable spot in the overall ranking, I'm sure we can see the aggressive side of the Omega and boys as well. A fun banter, a fun going on between Sensei and Omega. Friends outside the game, foes in the game. I love these two guys because they are always fun to be around. Omega comes in with such power and obviously a bit of angry side. And I think actually Omega is actually rubbing onto Sensei, because recently Sensei is the one who is getting angry and Omega is the one who is pretty chilled out.
True that. Sensei, we have seen him get a bit angry recently. Yesterday we also did see Fierce. He was quite pissed over something. He was also having a lot of choice words with Sensei and his teammate Fury. But now look at Sensei. Oh, he's telling his teammates that they've got the camera on him. This guy is funny, man.
Because Trace was yawning. He was probably saying, don't yawn, the camera is focusing on you. And I was like, can't help my teammates.
Why is he constantly looking at the camera like that? K9 Esports seems like they're having a few issues. Hopefully those issues will be sorted as soon as possible. We've got the admin team working on that. Pretty sure those things will be sorted out. And Sensei once again communicating something to K9 Esports. Somraj, serious as usual. Nothing really on his face, a poker face.
You know, sometimes I actually feel that Somraj can look through your soul. The way he looks at someone with such intensity, he can actually look through your soul.
Somraj reminds me of that one series. Have you seen Wednesday?
Not really. I've seen the movie Wednesday.
No, I'm not talking about a Bollywood movie. I'm talking about the Wednesday series that's available on Netflix. And that girl, she always has a poker face. She has no expression. She has nothing. She's always got a poker face. And Somraj's face sometimes reminds me of her.
But one thing I love about Somraj is the witty replies. He's so quick on those replies, and every single time those replies are witty. He gets a message across in a limited few words.
That's why he reminds me of her. She's also pretty much the same in that series.
Maybe you have a crush on her.
No, nothing like that. But I've just been watching that series recently and kind of like it. It's quite interesting. Soon, the game of Sanhok will be popping up on the screen. As we all know, Genesis Esports, they have been going through a bit of that down curve. And hopefully Genesis Esports will make a comeback as soon as possible. There's also 4TR around the mix. And you know what? Since we are anyways trying to buy some time for the game to be started, let's have a look at those highlights on how exactly the fight kicked off. Unfortunately for the players, at the start, they were not really able to start things off on a great note. I'm speaking of Revenant X Park. They lost out in the early man. Then later on, Revenant X Park locked horns against Team Aryan, and somehow Team Aryan choked that fight.
And this isn't the first time that these two teams are going up against each other. We have seen so many times Revenant X Park and Team Aryan going up against each other either during the rotation or during a drop clash. And this is not the first time the player of Revenant X Park got picked off by a pistol.
That is true. It's the second time, right? First it was Trace. Yesterday that happened by the man of NoNx. And now today, off the rip in the drop clash itself, the man got pistoled to death. It's understandable he did not have anything to defend himself with, and the moment the man realized that the entirety have dropped in towards that garage itself, he tried to make the escape. It was impossible, and his death was inevitable. But we've got to play the skies once again, starting all the way from docks towards the opposite side, which is Camp Alpha. This plane flap pad tilted a little bit down south, but since it's the map of Sanhok, it's not going to make any sort of difference.
Yeah, but the flight path this time is going to be a little towards the south, like you mentioned. Going all the way towards the side of Camp Alpha, where the players of K9 loves dropping in. But we have seen so many times that Sanhok is offering hybrid circle recent days. And if that happens, teams are going to be in a bit of pickle that where exactly to rotate. But for now, let's see if there is going to be any drop clash, because K9 as usual going all the way towards Camp Alpha, OG going a bit north towards Camp Bravo or Bhan, God's Rain loves going in towards the side of Paradise Resort, and that is exactly where they are heading. Seems like no drop clash, at least towards the side of Minor and Sami.
K9 Esports will have the entirety of Camp Alpha Island to themselves. Things looking quite peaceful, good and dandy. You move on towards Paradise Resort, things have always been a little bit shaky, suspicious. And for God's Rain, maybe this time they're going to lock horns against 4TR and even Mad Kings. There's 3 teams next to each other in Paradise Resort, and this is going to be utter chaos. God's Rain, they usually like to drop in towards this vicinity, and that's what they've exactly done. But 4TR, they will be on the tail soon. And God's Rain, they need to be quick with that loot. Destro, the man's already got his hands on the AR, and he wants to push up close and personal, but Destro gets damaged. Pain His Life moves back instantly, and keep this thing in mind, Pain His Life is going to be the impact player for 4TR.
And this guy has done tremendous improvement in his gameplay. 4TR is one of those teams which has done so much in the recent days. Z-God going for that clutch, InfGod also going for this 1v2s, even Pain His Life. This guy always brings in so much on the table.
Speaking of Pain His Life, this man has been the standout player for the entirety of 4TR. He's always someone who contributes in a positive manner. But as I mentioned, there's 3 teams next to each other. Even Mad Kings were a part of this scuffle. And Mad Kings, they've already kick-started things. Destro gets knocked out. He's in such an awkward spot. Smokes will need to be tossed out. But Shadow, he wants to get the confirmation first. He wants to cripple the players of God's Rain. Utility was tossed out, but it's not going to get a second knock at all.
Destro, knocked out in the open. You can try to go for the rescue mission, but it comes with a risk that even he also can be taken down. So I'm sure he's not going to really take that risk. But a 4th party also coming in the name of Infinix Esports. This is not looking promising for either of these teams. God's Rain, they have defended Paradise Resort so many times. And if they do it once again, I think they can propel themselves on the 2nd spot as well.
It's not a Paradise anymore. It's Hell Resort. With the amount of teams that are stacked up in this vicinity. And now especially even God's Rain are starting to pop down. God's Rain, they've already eliminated. What just happened to them? They've been eliminated from this game. 4TR moved up and did some light work. Mad Kings still around the fray, but Mad Kings, they get shot from the back by the players of Infinix Esports. That's Godin. Incredible stuff for even Morty could have been knocked out. Morty really wanted to steal that elimination point away, but he gets denied instantly. Infinix Esports, the moment they get that 1 elimination point, that's going to be 4 points in total, since Godin was the one to get that elimination. But even the players of Mad Kings fall apart the moment they collide against 4TR. The fight's not done yet. They now need to traverse through the players of Infinix Esports. There's also NINZA who are now going to be a part of it.
5 teams in Paradise Resort. God's Rain has already been eliminated. Mad Kings have been eliminated. And the remaining are fighting. Even Genesis. What is happening? Everyone.
6 teams.
Everyone is going for Paradise Resort.
6 teams were next to each other, from which 2 are already eliminated. I'm speaking of God's Rain and Mad Kings. But now Genesis Esports, Infinix Esports, 4TR, and NINZA are right next to each other. The Hell Resort stacking up with too many demons. And I'm sure soon this will turn into a complete outburst containing so many evil souls. It's going to be tough. Someone has to go for that first move. Just imagine the actions calm down so much. It's the calm before the storm, Shadow.
This is chaos in Paradise Resort. Like you said, this is not Paradise. This is Hell Resort. 6 teams in Paradise. And a stalemate situation. Have you ever seen this? 6 teams in a single city and everyone is just maintaining peace.
Someone has to go for that first move, right? And hold on to that thought, actually. TWOB as well might just contribute to the chaos soon.
Oh no, 7th one.
I would love to see that. Come on, I'm loving this game of Sanhok.
God's Rain was not prepared for this.
Of course they weren't. God's Rain thought that they're probably going to be dealing with one of the teams, but they never thought that there's also going to be Mad Kings in the vicinity. And that's why you saw Destro fall down first, because Destro never knew that Mad Kings were right there on the opposite side.
But the main question is, do the players of Genesis and TWOB are aware about the amount of teams and players present in the city? I don't think so. Genesis is aware. They're aware about the players of NINZA, and they might be anticipating the players of 4TR. But the remaining 2 teams, I'm sure Zap is not aware about that.
Oh. Now though, Beard Baba! Massive mistake! The man was too exposed and NINZA just gifting that elimination point away. It's Hunters to get that elimination point, which is quite good. Second man for NINZA falls down as well. How is NINZA making the same mistake over and over again? And now 4TR, they've got the man advantage inside of the fight as the final two players are wrapped up as well. Paying his life. This man got 3 finishes in the power play. Now quadrupled him. How many are that?
The initial drop clash, Necro, happened between 4TR and God's Reign. 4TR is still alive, 8 finishes, and all the 4 players alive. No casualty. This is kudos to 4TR.
And Paying his life is the impact player, and he's got 3 finishes, so that's going to be quadrupled up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, 4TR. They've already done more than enough. They do not even need to play the game anymore. They can just get eliminated right here.
I hope they don't.
Yeah, of course, they should not. They still need to breach inside of the top 12.
Yeah.
But if they do manage to wipe out Genesis Esports, oh my god, the icing on top of the cake. It cannot get any better.
The main reason so many teams are in Paradise Resort, maybe they wanted to get those bounty points on God's Reign. But TWB back also coming in, chiming in, gets a perfect knock and connection onto one of the player of Team Genesis. But the counter knock is coming onto Bishu. Genesis is retaliating back. But Mac, with a grenade, he could have done so much damage. But for now, he has to go for the revival onto the fallen comrade. But 2 players of Genesis marching towards him instantly will take him down.
Genesis Esports, they've got the situation under control, but even Genesis themselves, they're catching a lot of hurt. Hunters, the man gets crippled. He's taken down to extremely low HP. Heavy damage was inflicted on the man. But Hunters is the only person alive for Genesis Esports because TWB, they dealt too much damage. And Hunters, he fights another man. Power play still active as Hunters goes for the confirmation. The points will be quadrupled.
4TR is still alive, Necro. In all this chaos, the teams are fighting on the periphery of Paradise Resort. Even the players of K9. What is happening on this earth?
Now even K9 Esports are attracted to all the sounds around Paradise Resort. And they're moving in the close proximity. You love to see it. Come on, contribute to the chaos even more, K9 Esports. Those might just be free elimination points waiting for you to be grabbed. Or maybe you might be the free elimination point waiting to be grabbed.
Let's not jinx it. Let's not jinx it. 4TR, they're having a fantastic run. They have all the players alive. But yes, K9 finally decides to fall back because Beast is all the way towards the shoreline of Camp Alpha Island. And maybe they can go all the way towards the side of Ruins where we have the players of Global Esports.
K9 backing away. Come on, that's not the K9 I know. If the old K9 was still alive, they would have made that pounce. They would have been like, you know what? There's chaos. Let's go and thrive in it.
You know, the population of Paradise Resort is already increasing. I think it's better to stay away from that.
No, it's going down actually now.
Yeah, now it's going down.
Since Genesis Esports, they're just alive with 1 man. 4TR, they've got all the 4 players standing, but TWB as well, they've just got 1 player alive. So Paradise Resort is now getting vacant. But soon, at least one of these players need to be eliminated. Either TWB, Pokar can be eliminated, or Hunters from Genesis Esports will be eliminated.
You know, when last time we saw such a huge cluster around Paradise Resort, it was God's Reign who came on the top. And if I'm not wrong, they got the chicken dinner. If not, they at least had a podium finish in that map. But this time, they are the first one to be eliminated. TWB Pokar, the last man standing. Maybe he also came with the hope of getting those bounty points onto the players of God's Reign. But seems like they are the one on the receiving end. 3 finishes. But not enough because TWOB, they are at the right bottom of the leaderboard. Pokar is the impact player. So even if he do manage to get few extra finishes, the points are going to be doubled up.
The amount of points 4TR got is insane.
Yeah.
And the fact that all the 4 players are still standing, that is another insane fact. Just look at the finish points. I'm pretty sure these are just the power play finish points right there. Or maybe not even power play counted. Just raw 10 finishes gathered. Now imagine the impact player has 3. And these elimination points were also gathered in the power play.
Yeah.
Which means the impact player's elimination points will be quadrupled.
That means 12 points just by impact player.
No, more.
Just by impact player. He got 3 finishes. Double
yeah,
points, 6, so that means 12.
True.
12 points just by the impact player. Yes, 4TR, this is definitely a comeback game for the players of 4TR, but Hero Extreme Godlike, this game is really important for Hero Extreme Godlike as well, because they are sitting on the 6th spot. And if they perform really good in this one and the next one, there is a very high chance that they can be catapulted in the top 4, because God's Train, now they have been eliminated 0 points. But OG, even they need to bring the consistency on the table, because Miramar, yes, it was a decent game. They had too many points in terms of finish points in the previous one. But the circle takes a centric shift, favoring the players of Hero Extreme Godlike, who are so close to the players of OG. Even the players of 8-bit are trying to go for the southern rotation. But in all this commotion, Necro, if you notice a position where WizGod is, he can actually go and backstab the players of 8-bit if they try to collide with OG, but that is not happening, as WizGod have finally decided to regroup with his teammates.
With the zone being a centralized one, and now it's also fixated that it is going to move on towards the right side. Specifically for teams like Revenant X Park, 4TR, K9 Esports, maybe there's a ray of hope. For a moment I thought either Pucar from TWOB or Hunters from Genesis Esports will be eliminated, but no, that's not the case. They came to a pre-peace treaty, and both the players made it out alive. So it's all good, I guess. But for K9 Esports, things might not be good and dandy yet. We know the map of Sanhok, you need to have a centric control, and if the zone is favoring you, that's the only possible way you can get a chicken dinner on Sanhok.
Pucar is still a threat for the players of K9, because he is yet to make his rotations, and K9 they are on the periphery of the circle. They are not aware that someone is coming from the blue. But 4TR, 10 finishes, already so many points just by the entire team of 4TR has been accumulated in this one, and 12 teams remaining. And 4TR, they still have a decent spot in the circle, and the way ZGod is watching the backlines, I think he can easily spot down the players of K9, especially Slug.
They indeed can. 4TR official, 10 finish points acquired. And with how the game's functioning so far, it really does seem like 4TR, they might just get away with a massive game. I'm speaking of 45-pointer, I'm speaking of 50-pointer.
Highly possible. This was the main fight for 4TR, and the moment they eliminated the players of God's Trade and Mad Kings, they did allow the remaining teams to fight among each other. And when everyone just backed away from Paradise Resort, 4TR, then they started making that rotation inside the circle. That was a very good move from the IGL. Good calls from the IGL, good fight conversion, and this is the level of competition we want to see from the side of 4TR, because ZGod is one of the veteran player.
True that.
And also, this is a newly formed lineup, Necro.
True. For K9 Esports specifically, with how things are looking like, there is Pucar in the tail. And Pucar can anyways backstab them. If K9 Esports are not aware of this one man, he can possess a lot of threat. But I'm going to hold on to that fact as of now, because Global Esports, they're eyeing out on the players of Revenant X Park. Revenant X Park on the hilltop. It's an uphill battle for the players of Global Esports. This seems quite a tough conversion. And looking at the terrain Global Esports has and looking at the split Global Esports has, I don't think this fight's going to be that beneficial.
InfGod has been knocked out from the side of 4TR. And you mentioned about the position of Pucar. In the entire situation, I think K9 is the one who needs to be a bit cautious, because they are having a split. One player all the way towards north, one player Omega towards the blue, 2 players still sitting together. So K9 has to be a bit cautious, because if OG also decides to go for the northern rotation, or if K9 goes for the southern rotation, which they are doing absolutely right now, they can actually clash with the players of OG, and that won't be a good news for them.
For K9 Esports, going for a fight against OG does not make a lot of sense. K9 Esports, they're completely on the opposite side, and OG's completely on the opposite side. I'm speaking of the overall standings. K9 Esports is desperate for points, and OG isn't. OG, of course, will be filled with a lot of confidence, but if K9 Esports does eliminate OG, that will be bounty claimed right there. So it's a high risk, high reward.
See, K9 has decided to take a rain check onto the players of OG, but still Hero Extreme Godlike are also present in the close proximity. Two teams now are aware about the rotation which K9 has brought in, and now they're heading over all the way towards the side of 8-bit. Three strong teams, and K9, they have made their presence feel to all the three teams.
They indeed have. And with how 8-bit is dropping down now, it's not looking good for K9 Esports. They found themselves a bit of that stable ground. But NoNx, they're the one to take a fight against K9 Esports. NoNx, unfortunately, they do lose out on Kana, but even Anonymous, he does strike down Slug and Beast. What is going on? So many fights happening at the same time. They're breaking out. Hero Extreme Godlike is going up against OG. And Hero Extreme Godlike as well, they possess a bounty. If I'm not wrong, no, not yet. Hero Extreme Godlike is on the 6th spot. But if Hero Extreme Godlike does end up eliminating OG, that will be a bounty claimed. Admino does find the knock in the confirmation instantly, so that's a good news for Hero Extreme Godlike. It's a way to kick things off inside of the fight.
Ermino having a height advantage onto the players of OG. I think he chipped down pretty low, and Ermino can easily knock him down. He has got 2 grenades, and this fight looks like it's going actually in the favor of Hero Extreme Godlike, depending on the position which they are in. And Atanki, a third party coming in from the side of Marcos Gaming. Stone BGMS gets an instant knock and confirmation onto Atanki. Orangutan, big blunders coming in. But 2 players, they have moved inside the circle. Absolutely at the dead smack. But both of them are so far away from each other. iQOO all by himself towards the side of NoNx, and Aru towards the side of iQOO. So what is happening wrong with OG and K9? Bad rotations.
Good question. But NoNx, with the way they were able to defend the ground against K9 Esports, was great. Eliminating K9 Esports, NoNx getting those 4 elimination points instantly. Kalyug and Anonymous were the one to distribute those. And now that we've also got Soul around that same territory in the smack center, Soul's going to have the most eyes on them as well. They will also be the center of attraction. Revenant X Park will soon need to leave this comfort zone, move out in the open. That means Soul's going to be collapsed on by a lot of teams.
One of them could be the players of Revenant X Park, even the players of Global Esports and Marcos Gaming. Even Hero Extreme Godlike can also be a possibility. So iQOO Soul, they have to make sure to defend the compound with tooth and nail, because the way Fury is keeping a close eye onto Goblin. Even if a pixel is visible, I'm sure this guy can knock him down. But Global Esports is also a lurking threat coming in from the western side.
Yeah.
They're sticking on the periphery of the circle. NoNx all the way towards a Pine and compounds. That is where we have the players of Team 8-bit as well. But Superman, this guy is also in the crosses of gods.
I'm pretty sure NoNx is going to face the entirety of 8-bit soon. So that's going to be another fight that is waiting to happen. Hero Extreme Godlike will be a constant threat towards Pine, since the moment they hear all those shots, Hero Extreme Godlike will go for a third party. Soul now getting pounced on, and what a nade that was! Sensei knocked out. Massive nade, finds the knock, Sensei goes down. And now Sensei needs to be very and careful off the back lines. Goblin, he gets the confirmation, but unfortunately for Soul, a return nade comes in from Revenant X Park, and that's going to make sure that Goblin might just be able to do. But still, the man's knocked out. He's not out yet. Revenant X Park, they do finally get the revival on towards Fierce. Revenant X Park is in shambles. The elimination points and the bounty can be claimed by the players of Soul.
Highly possible, highly possible. iQOO Soul Goblin has been knocked out. Fierce has been knocked out from the side of RNTX, but they are going for the rescue mission. The reset is coming in from both the sides. But RNTX, they don't have the numbers advantage. It's only 3 players alive. Fierce back in the game. But Fury, he needs to find a connection with those utils, and seems like the connection is completely missing. The smoke has been deployed to deny vision to the players of iQOO Soul. But look at that, Hero Extreme Godlike also coming in for the third party, and the Batman himself, the Knuckle, is going to take him down.
Legit backs away towards the opposite corner. And now Soul, as I mentioned, they're going to be collapsed on from all the different angles. Soul needs to try and defend this ground down. They're just playing tower defense. But they're also collecting a lot of elimination points doing so. There's so many teams just collapsing in front of Soul, and all they need to do is just play it patiently. But even Hero Extreme Godlike now taking those good shots against the players of Marcos Gaming. 2 of the players instantly knocked out. Admino, he's putting in a lot of work. The only man standing for Hero Extreme Godlike and Admino. Now he's got a Herculean task lineup ahead of him.
Admino, the only man remaining, the only hope for the players of Hero Extreme Godlike. He has got 3 finishes, and this is a battle with the zone and the players as well. It's not going to go in the favor of Edmino. The play zone will take him out, and Hero Extreme Godlike, now they have been eliminated on the 6th spot. But even 8-bit, they are also crumbling down against the players of NoNx.
Trey Scott, the only man standing for Revenant X Park as well. Soul, they need to be careful, but even Trace gets eliminated within a blink of an eye. Unfortunate for the player, and with that, the entirety of Revenant X Park, they evaporate into thin air. Global Esports still alive. All the 4 players, they've got a decent spread. 8-bit, they made a pounce against the players of NoNx, but even 8-bit now might just now start to face the brunt. But Kalyuk, for some reason, he's not going to press the matter. Instead, he backs away. Why does he do so? He's already found the advantage to his teammates. If Kalyuk wanted, he could have pressed up and at least got the players knocked out even more.
Kalyuk, this is going to be the last grenade, and after that, it's only a single Molotov remaining. Even as Power is trying to do something with a grenade, but Kalyuk, he has to reposition because the grenades are not getting the connection which he desires. But iQOO Soul out in the open, the Molotovs coming in from the side of Manya, and Nakul has been forced to reposition. But look at Goblin slowly crawling his way towards Manya, and the boys. Smoke is there, a soft cover, but will that be enough?
Yeah, Soul's got all the 4 players still standing and laying down in the battlefields. And Soul, they actually do start things off with a massive advantage. That nade's gonna blast right on the face, but even Global Esports, they reply back strong as ever before. A nade toss from them is also gonna find the confirmation and chips away the second man extremely low. Soul in a big world of trouble, and Global Esports, they just want to go for the revival on the fallen comrade. Another nade tossed out from Adi, and that's going to find the knock on Joker. Soul, they're in shambles, they're falling apart in this fight. And there's no way now Soul might just be able to make that comeback. The last man legit, he's still somehow barely hanging on the ledge, but a few connections will seal the deal.
We did mention Global Esports is a lurking threat for the players of iQOO Soul. And finally, Global Esports do manage to eliminate the entirety of Team iQOO Soul on the 4th spot. Top 3 teams remain. Global Esports, they have the numbers advantage. 8-bit with only 2 players remaining. And NoNx Kalyuk, the only man standing. And Raiden with the DBS in his hand is actually charging it towards him. And this is going to be so important. But Raiden himself is burning in the flames. He needs to patch himself. This is so important for Kalyuk. This 1v2 can actually reward him with a few extra position points.
It indeed can. But now as Kalyuk, he's getting isolated. The man from 8-bit is taken down extremely low. But even Kalyuk, he was taken down pretty low. The man got greedy in the end. And his Power knows there's no possible way he's going to be able to survive this. So end up eliminating yourself, and that's what he does. 8-bit's last elimination point wasn't gifted to the players of Global Esports, but still Global Esports got a massive game in this game of Sanhok.
100%. The way Global Esports were maintaining that rotation, they had the entire best control of the circle coming in all the way from the side of Ruins, and maintaining that edge control, very free control of the circle was really important because everyone else was fighting in Paradise Resort or towards the eastern or the southern side where we had NoNx and 8-bit. So Global Esports, the only major fight which they had to win was against the players of Team iQOO,
and
which
NoNx,
they did.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but NoNx, another consistent game from them.
Yeah.
And 8-bit, hold on, slipping under the radar in the top 2 with a decent bit of elimination points as well. But for Global Esports, this is their first game. And remember what I say, Global Esports and the first game relationship, it's great. Always great. If Global Esports is there in the first game, you can always book on them because they will be the one with a good spot every single time.
But here's the thing, Global Esports, they got the chicken dinner a few days back as well. They need to work on the consistency if they really want to qualify for the grand finals.
Exactly. And Global Esports, if they keep on playing the same way, then of course they will qualify for the grand finals. It's not even a question. But for now, Global Esports, they're quite on and off, right? We do not exactly know what to expect from Global Esports because in some games, Global Esports do pop off at a different level. In some games, Global Esports are just completely absent. And I hope they patch up this problem because Global Esports, they need consistency, and that's the only thing they're lacking. But for now, let's move on to stage for a quick interview with Manya from Global Esports.
टेक्निकल डिफिकल्टी तो ग्लोबल ई स्पोर्ट्स के साथ भी कुछ टाइम से चल रही थी. मान्या, गुड टू हैव यू. चिकन डिनर आपने निकाला है. जस्ट वांटेड टू आस्क यू, पिछले कुछ टाइम में आप लोग कहाँ गायब हो गए थे? बिकॉज बहुत अरसा हो गया कि हमने चिकन डिनर के बाद आपके साथ कॉन्वर्सेशन की हो.
मतलब लंबा टूर्नामेंट है तो अपन ट्राई कर रहे थे नई नई चीज़ें, तो इसीलिए.
माने आपकी ऑग जो है इस टूर्नामेंट को जीत चुकी है, सो एटलीस्ट ऑग ये जानती है कि व्हाट इट टेक्स टू गेट योर हैंड्स ऑन द ट्रॉफी. क्या उस बात का प्रेशर रहता है कि यू हैव डन इट वंस, तो जब जब आप इस टूर्नामेंट में उतरेंगे हमेशा वो तलवार जो है वो सर पे लटक रही होगी?
नहीं, प्रेशर तो नहीं है. प्रेशर रहने से चीज़ें खराब रहती है. जितना सिंपल रखोगे उतना अच्छा जाता है, तो मेरा यही मानना है.
फाइनल बैटल में आपके साथ में सोल भी थी, नॉनिक्स भी थी एंड 8-bit भी थी, राइट? तो कहीं पे आपको लगा था कि कहीं कुछ ऐसा प्रेशर जो हम इन बाकी टीमों से क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि देयर वाज अ टाइम व्हेन यू एंड सोल वर 4v4.
नहीं, सोल 4-man थी तो मेरे को खुशी था कि मेरे को पहला बाउंटी मिलेगा. तो पहली बाउंटी मिली इवेंट की, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ.
एंड व्हाट इज द प्लान? टॉप 4 या फिर आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं 5 to 12 इज वेयर वी वांट टू सिट?
नॉर्मल खेलेंगे, टॉप 4 हो गए तो बढ़िया है, नहीं है तो अच्छा है ना, सेमीज में और प्रैक्टिस होगी.
Practice makes a man and his team perfect. Manya, thank you so much. Global Esports, हमारे पहले champions picking up a chicken dinner. Very crucial one. We see you on the other side of the break.
Cheat code, bro.
No code.
So, a script then, or a bot?
No script.
All right, class. For today's lesson.
I already taught her something.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
With the first chicken of the day and their first bounty claim for the BGMS Season 4, ladies and gentlemen, Global Esports are now finally finding themselves into the same boat of moving up in that top 12. But will that journey continue, or will it only be stopped after one game? We'll eventually have to find out, Shadow, as I'm going to be joining in on the desk this time around with her. And also, when I'm on the desk, I bring some nice offers for you, just like how Swiggy brings some offers for you. That's going to be the burgers at just ₹99, and you do not want to miss out on that. How do you claim that offer? Don't worry, you know that after the game, you will have the QR code on your screen. Don't worry, don't go anywhere, stay tuned, and we'll let you know about that. But Shadow, mind letting me know about what was happening with the Soul and GE fight?
yes, iQOO Soul in that situation did mess up a bit. It was a completely open terrain fight and Global Esports were just better in that particular fight. And that eventually led to the winner-winner chicken dinner, because whoever had maintained that entire western northern control of the circle would have eventually got the winner-winner chicken dinner. And it was Team Global Esports, but the MVP has to be Z-God with 4 finishes and 36% finish contribution. I don't know what 4TR was cooking in this game. 6 teams, 7 teams in Paradise Resort on 4TR comes out alive without any casualty. 8 total finishes and Impact player getting 12 points. So many points just by 4TR. This was really a comeback game. Inf got the best companion with 4 rescues and 1 assist.
That's the big thing about it, right? He's got as many rescues as Z-God has got the finishes as well. This clearly shows you that even though 4TR were getting those casualties, they were quickly getting their men back up on the feet as well. And I think so, as much as your fighting skills show the prowess of you that you have in the fight, also bringing your men back up on their feet shows the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Offense is the best defense, but also defense is one of the best ways to have those offenses. And 4TR clear-cut showed us that. Also on the other side, Marcos Gaming, Shadow, 3rd game and 3rd consecutive bad game.
Not just this day, I think it all started a few days back where Marcos Gaming started fizzling out in those 4v4 fights. But yes, iQOO Soul might have lost that fight against the players of Global Esports, but the way they defended their compound, kudos to them. So many teams were eyeing for that compound and iQOO Soul did get too many finish points in that situation. But NoNx and 8-bit, they also tried the level best.
Yeah, they all did, but eventually the level best was not enough to match the level of Global Esports. As we have a look at the match rankings as well, it will reveal a lot of story. Hold on a second. 28 points being claimed by 4TR, just exactly as how you mentioned. So even though the bounty was claimed by Global Esports, they only reached at 26, still 1 point shy, that 1 position point which we normally talk about, or rather 2.
Yeah, bounty was claimed, but it was entirely Paradise Resort chaos. And imagine if 4TR, they had survived for a bit longer. It would have been a comeback game for the players of 4TR. I really want to see where they are in the overall leaderboard. But for now, iQOO Soul on 3rd, Godstrain on the 4th spot, OG on the 2nd. Nothing has really changed because Genesis and Hero Extreme God, like this was not really that great of a game for them. But Genesis, they are just 5 points away from the 4th spot. There is a high chance that if all things go right, Genesis can be in the top 4.
They can definitely barge in as well into that top 4. But I really want to look at iQOO 8-bit eventually moving up in the top 8 itself, which we've known them to be for quite a long time in. They definitely show that potential, and they've got one more game remaining to try and do the exact same thing. While we have a look at the rest of the teams, not really having a lot of games. 4TR, again, moving slowly and steadily up. Still looking to eye for that 12th spot, at least being in that top 12. While we're talking about NINZA and all the other teams, right? NINZA, Marcos Gaming, they still have one more game to play. So my question is, for how far up will their ceiling go? That's going to be the big one, because they're not really doing that hot shot in the leaderboard itself, and even top 12 seems to be a bit more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Staging a comeback is going to be a bit difficult for all the teams who are still on the bottom of the leaderboard. Mad Kings is also one of those names. And I was having a conversation with Necro as well when the event started. Mad Kings, Lala, Clutch got such an experienced lineup, but maybe because the lineup is a completely newly formed one, that could be the reason that they are struggling. But so is 4TR. This is a newly built lineup.
My big question is, Shadow, there are a lot of new things that are eventually forming, but they perform really good. Just like the OnePlus Nord, ladies and gentlemen. It's a newly built-in device all for you by OnePlus, and it is absolutely fantastic, which gives you the latest high FPS gameplay with a pretty solid battery life. You do not want to miss out on that one. Do check out that offer. Coming back to the same question. 4TR, newly formed team, performing pretty decently. While we're talking about Mad Kings, experienced players, and even after that, they're not really showcasing those kinds of hot shots, right? There's so many points in my head. I need to collect my thoughts for that. And in order to do that, we'll send it to a short break. On the other side, last game.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag. We have got Snapdragon 8 Series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, 0 stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
How did we go from bathtub to battleground?
Gemini on Android, bro. Anything can happen.
Press to create videos.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
One last game and one last opportunity to try and move one more step closer to this beautiful trophy. It all started with my Los Hermanos winning the first one, followed up by True Rippers. Group A teams finally shining brighter than the Group B as Global Esports took the one in Game 3. Who's gonna grab this one land of Erangel? That's going to be the main question right now. Will it be Godlike? Will it be Genesis? Will it be Revenant X-Park? That's going to be the main thing we're all now waiting for, a suspense that's finally going to be answered in a few things. And if you want a few of your own things to be answered, specifically if you have some new ideas, you want some things to be created, make sure you check out Gemini. Only and exclusively available on Android devices.
We got the man, the entire team of 4TR who performed really good in the previous one. Even iQOO sold the way these guys defended their compound. Kudos to them. 8-bit, they also tried to breach into the compounds of NoNx, where Kaliuk did manage to eliminate one of the player of Team 8-bit. Had it 8-bit had numbers, maybe they could have also been the one to get the chicken there, but maybe in the next last wrangle of the day scared, 8-bit can also come up in the leaderboard.
They would have to rise up high and fly, just like the plane right now, going all the way from Crore and Primos towards the side of Milta Power and Novorepnoi. This is exactly like the plane that eventually was in the first map of Erangel itself. So, highly southern tilted plane fly path, and if the circle also forms just like the previous one, yeah, it's going to be an absolute circus. A lot of early fights we are bound to witness. Quite a few teams who like to drop in over towards Yasnaya Polyana, maybe towards the ruins, hospital. Have to take a mad long rotation to try and move there. We certainly saw a few teams eventually going in for some of those drop clashes as well towards those pit stops. That's going to be something you've got to focus on. Some of the big players now, specifically the impact players of the team, they will have to tighten up their shoelaces, they'll have to pull up their socks or thumb sleeves. Bring themselves back in the action.
Last time when I saw Southern Flight Path in the map of Erangel, it was a completely northern circle towards the side of shooting range and Siverni. And if that happens, it's going to be a bit problem for the players of Marcos Gaming, Phoenix Esports, who anyway have been struggling in the overall ranking. And speaking of RNTX, a drop clash is happening against the players of Marcos Gaming. Back and forth trades are coming in. Trace God has been knocked out. Rios is there for the help and revival as he deals with the players of Marcos Gaming. 2 finishes in the very start of the game, and now Marcos, they have been left with only 2 players. This is actually a new rivalry which we are witnessing in the map of Erangel, RNTX and Marcos Gaming.
It's mostly happening because of this absolute weird fly path happening all the way towards the southern end, that's all. Otherwise we would have seen all the other teams hopping back onto their same spots though. But yeah, this is quite interesting to see right now. Genesis up against the members of K9 as well. Yash, only one man standing up strong, not for too long. Beast answers back instantly. Destroys him, claims that one finish, and now they'll be ready to move in with that vehicle all the way up top. They look over towards Milta Power as well. There are some fights happening there too. Orangutan. Again, not a great start for them. Losing one of their member early on. And I'm pretty sure it was Global Esports to get that finish. TWOB as well. Pretty close by to the rest of the members though. Mac, he's going to be taken down. AK instantly destroying that, moving in the vehicle along with Atanki. That's 4 points instantly back in your pocket as well as REVENANT X-Park. They're going to try and give a few more to Trey Scott. Noddy up on top, holding his angle. DBS in the hands. You really want to try and move against him.
Noddy. Only 2 players remaining. And the entire team of RNTX up against him. And Noddy actually deals with a hefty damage. Out in the open, you saw where Trey Scott is. And despite that, you made the decision. I don't know, maybe the man was expecting that he'll actually jump off the rooftop of the building and can survive Trey Scott.
Just didn't happen. Decision making at the clutch moment. Bit of a problem out here right now. The same could be said for Mad Kings. They're taking down 2 of the members of 4TR. So the ex-members fighting against each other as well. INF God still holding his ground down. Trying to do the exact same thing to what Mad Kings did to his own team. But they're taking them down one after the other. Morty is still going to try and hold it stronger as Mad Kings. They've got only one man standing. They had the advantage in this fight and are then utterly destroyed. 3 finishes for Morty. And Mad Kings are kings no further.
4TR. Their graph is improving every single day. The way this team is improving their 4v4 fights. Every time someone becomes a hero, whether it is InfGod, Morty, Pain is Alive or Z-God. And this time it was Morty, but a cat and mouse chase going on for the last player of Marcos Gaming, Stone BGMS. And he did manage to take the Ninja. Boy, what is happening to the players of K9 Esports? Omega was there to help him out, and Marcos Gaming, they have been eliminated on the 15th spot. But K9 Esports, it was just a single man. But finally, Ninja Boy. But look at the HP of Beast also. The last player, Stone BGMI. Kudos to him for the valiant effort. It was not just one, but 4 players. He did manage to take down 1 player and did manage to almost take down the second as well.
Not really the best thing happening for Kanan out there right now, considering the rotational path they're also taking. They're bound to face the members of 4TR and Godlike up in the future if they keep on going north. So that could be a bit of a problem. In the meantime, over towards the quarry. Oh, Reaper. You don't really want to fight out in the territories of Meta NINZA. Just holding on to their positions. Dragon and Poco leading the members of Phoenix over into their trap, into their cluster. Some place where they can't really run away from, but Weird Baba is going to be taken down first. Archit answers back, tries to swap the weapons, but it's the buggy on the other side, instantly trading off too. Dragon still holding strong, still trying to survive out there. Not too long though. Pretty shabby coming in as it's a back and forth trade. Phoenix losing members, down on the feet. It's all down to Jatin, who tries to help, but he's just too far away. Can only try and get a confirmation though, and that too not perfectly. He's only able to chip down a player as Reaper gets ready to throw in the nade. Now Hovercraft comes into play. He's going to go in for those confirmations as well. Can't go for the close one. Yeah, good luck jumping out of that. He's actually going to jump out of that though. Holding. Oh my god, that's a horrible mistake from Jatin. But he still sprays down Reaper. And he saves Phoenix Esports.
3 teams have been eliminated. Phoenix Esports, at one point of time, they were struggling. I'm not saying they're comfortable right now. They're sitting on the 23rd spot, but getting 8 extra points in the power play itself is definitely going to help their case. But Meta NINZA, they're also like an on and off, just like K9. Sometimes they pop off really well, especially Dragon, showing the individual heroics and getting those extra points. And sometimes they're completely off, just like now. K9 Esports, they just want to be the king of the hills, but the circle is completely towards the side of Yasnia, Poliana and Kameshki. Maybe they're going for a complete northern rotation, and that would eventually be a very good decision because K9, they love dropping in towards Siberni, and they're aware about every nook and cranny of the northern island. That would be a wise decision also, considering the fact that so many teams are coming from the southern side.
They're lucky to have not encountered anyone on their way though. Will eventually move back up, just as you mentioned. Every other team leaving the southern island of military base, eventually moving up top. It's a humongous circle, and now not a lot of fights are going to happen. Every single team is just far away from the other one. All the action that we were supposed to see, we did see. And again, it's the teams on the last pages that are being utterly destroyed. You talk about Marco's Gaming, 4th consecutive game. You talk about consistency, not the one in losing. So they are absolutely struggling too. This is the big reason why this is the only team that has got the maximum number of chicken dinners, and that is 6. And they're still on the last page.
I've been mentioning this fact since a very long time. Marco's Gaming is inconsistent. They get the chicken dinners, but the next few days, they're the one to be eliminated at the very start of the game. So Marcos, they need to learn how to get those average points as well when things are not sailing in their favor. But for now, the circle is all the way towards the side of Yasnia. Grenades and molotovs and smokes are going to be so really important, because if it is a final urban circle, utils are going to come handy. But if it is an open final circle, the smokes and the vehicles are going to be of prime importance. Few teams coming in all the way from the south, like Genesis, even God's Reign. They are taking their sweet time to move in because they know RNTX also loves going in for the late rotation, and they love dropping in towards the side of Milta. Maybe that could be the reason for the late rotation, but for now, Global Esports. Spray God all the way towards Yasnia. Even Pukar and the boys of TWOB are also in the city of Yasnia. Few shots were being exchanged, but for now, Spray God also peppering few bullets towards the rotating team of NoNx Esports.
Just trying to find some strays, maybe, if they're able to catch someone. I'm actually liking what Revenant X-Park is doing. If there's anyone watching the minimap, or rather the map feed itself, Sensei was holding down the bridge of Ferry Pier, confirming that God's Reign are not rotating from there, while Fury was sent down on the other side of Milta Bridge, trying to get that confirmation. Because they have an idea of where Destro likes to rotate from, or rather, the fact that Destro always jumps on the military base island and then he rotates up north. It's already stage 2, and I believe they just figured it out. So they can try and maybe position themselves somewhere around shelter or around prison. Try and tank the blue for a while, for just a few seconds, and then take down the rotating members of God's Reign. That could be disastrous for them. Just like how disastrous it was for Med and NINZA. It was a back and forth fight, but came down to that last 1v1, and after such a long time, it's not Goten who was supposed to clutch.
If you notice, the rotation through Quarry has always been a problem for the players of Med and NINZA. First, it was the players of Team Genesis with Dragon. I'm sure you remember the heroics of Dragon in that fight of Erangel. The rotation around Quarry has always been a problem for them. They need to fix it ASAP. But Global Esports, things are looking dandy for them. They have the control of the god building of Yasnia, and everyone is actually focusing on the city of Yasnia. Even the players of iQOO Seoul, they are towards the outskirts. K9 coming in all the way from the northern side. But God's Reign, RNTX and 8-Bit, they are all the way towards the south. You also have got the players of Phoenix Esports all the way towards the western side, and there is a very high probability that iQOO Seoul and Phoenix Esports, even Hero Extreme Godlike, might clash up against each other because these rotations are coming in from the western side.
I still remember one of the time when we had almost a similar circle pop up. But the only difference was that there were not so many teams at the time we reached stage 3. A lot of them were already fighting over towards the outskirts, trying to delete each other, to to create some more space, and that time stage 3 kind of shifted a bit more towards north. That was the time when Phoenix Esports were holding that position down. K9 was also there playing in that exact same group. And that was the game where MyG lost Hermanos eventually won as the circle shifted towards Yasnaya Polyana. It was FS versus MyG lost Hermanos. So if things are going in the exact same way, those are the two compounds where you would really want to go in. Right now, Punk being caught out in the rotation. It's K9 taking on the members of Godlike. And Ninja Boy finally answering back one. That's going to be an instant confirmation as well. 2 points going in the back pocket because he's the impact player. And they want to chase down Godlike. They want to finish them off. They do not want to let them survive.
The cat and mouse chase is going on, and where K9 really want to go up against the players of Hero Extreme Godlike, but Jonathan gets the better out of Beast. But Johnny, he needs to heal himself on a sliver of HP. The blue zone is also there, and finally Slug comes in and takes a trade onto Jonathan. Looking for the confirmation point, and we know, yes, on a sliver of HP, and all this is happening in the blue.
Should be dead. He should not be alive, but he's applying the bandages at the same time, I'm pretty sure, and that's the only reason why he is being kept up. My goodness. Godlike are being forced back, and it's K9 doing the exact thing. It's been such a long time finally seeing K9 back in the form which we all used to remember since the last year, or rather the starting of this year.
They're still chasing the players of Hero Extreme Godlike, Edmino to be specific, because he's the only one. Jonathan was bleeding, and finally the play zone eliminates him. He's going for the complete northern rotation.
But the question is, where will K9 breach from?
From the north, obviously. That is the path of rotation which K9 always opts in these circles.
But the big problem is, if you really look at the positioning of every other team in Yasnaya Polyana, you'd not really go a lot farther from just breaching in this one circle. Stage 4 will not be your cup of tea.
They'll stick to the outskirt compound of Yasnaya Polyana. You know the uphill compound towards the shoreline? That is where K9 will go. Because they do realize if they directly come into the city of Yasnaya, it would be a bloodbath. The same thing which is happening for the players of Godston as well. 3 finishes already accumulated, and one by one Sensei gets a knock onto Justin, but Delta is there for the Reviver and Revenant X-Pac. They have been eliminated.
Big performance coming in from Godlike as well, and I'm pretty sure that they should have been able to claim that bounty too. 4 finishes coming in for this team. Revenant X-Pac was carrying the bounty on top of their head, and Godlike did not pick any other fight. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the bounty being claimed. If there's any kind of change, we'll give you the confirmation for that as well. That's phenomenal. And Revenant X-Pac were the ones who were trying to gatekeep the members of God's Reign. So that is the biggest reverse that they could have pulled up. Now they've also got the southwestern part empty. But the big problem is it is actually pretty empty. Don't have any covers there. It's going to be very difficult for you to breach in. Every team that is playing on the edge right now, yeah, I'd have to say, either they're going to slam in perfectly, or it's going to be a GG's for them.
K9, a good rotation once again, and like I mentioned, they'll stick to the outskirt compound, the one on the uphill area towards the shoreline, and that is exactly where the players of K9 are. But Omega, with a vehicle explosion, also gets a confirmation point onto one of the players of Phoenix Esports. In this entire situation, Phoenix are the one who would be struggling to have a safe haven for themselves. Genesis all the way to the south, and finally the spray coming in from the side of Ninja Boy. But here's the thing, look at the amount of ammunition which K9 is having. Due to the fact that they didn't go for a proper loot, K9 at this point lack on the ammunition. They have to go for the secondary loot.
Or they'd have to just finish off one proper team, and that too as cleanly as possible. They cannot go for the prolonged fights, as you mentioned. I don't think so they even have enough loot to try and barge in or
they have
breach in against one of the other teams who's holding a compound down defensively.
They can rush onto a one squad.
Yeah, so that's again, that should be enough right now. 4TR as well. Just being a pain in the foot of OG. Deleting 3 of their members. One was already claimed out early on. Long back though, but pain. A lot of open windows in this house. It's all made of glass and you can't survive. They are being taken down though. Will be brought back up on the feet as... It's not just Global Esports that are actually fighting on them. It's also TWOB. It's also NoNx from the other side. So a lot of problems coming in. God's Reign occupying the entire southwestern fray. 8-bit are claustrophobic towards south. And then there's Genesis towards the southeast. So there are still 3 big names that are yet to collide to gain the control of the southern fray of the circle. Morty goes down yet again. This time Pain could eventually give him the revival on the stairs though. Answer coming in to Kalyuk, so he will have to reposition.
NoNx is one of those teams which has recently started amping up the aggression. Especially the big brain moves that come in from the side of Viper as well is the reason that NoNx has been super consistent. But Genesis, I'm sure you remember in week 2, it was a complete Genesis domination. They were untouchable, especially Hunters. This guy pulled off some 1v4s, 1v2. So many chicken dinners came in just because of Hunter's heroics. But now Genesis is actually the one shying away from the fights. Maybe they should stick to their natural play style, but for now 8-bit is also charging in the direction of Genesis. Finally the spray coming in. Bit of the damage towards to a player of 8-bit. Beast has been knocked out from the moving vehicle by Gravity, but Traden is there to get the trade onto Gravity.
Instantly trying to find one more though, but there's another snake out there in the wild. His power is going to try and get one of them down as well. Zap still holding that position, but God's Reign is the team who will go for the third party, who will eventually end up claiming all those finishes.
His power out in the open has also been eliminated. No, he's surviving on a sliver of HP, still surviving, still breathing. A grenade and Zap is down to 20 HP, but Godson is there to do a third party. His power has been eliminated by Neo and Zap also goes down. God's Reign, 7 finishes and now they have the entire southeastern control of the circle.
Just as I mentioned that all of these 3 southern teams will collide. And then one of them will come out on top. And what a mad call coming in from Omega. Calling his team all the way from up north towards down south now. So they've kind of occupied the place which God's Reign had before. While God's Reign have occupied the place which Genesis had. Hunter the only man remaining now. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how long can he survive. That's going to be a bit of a question. Goblin dealing a big blow to one of his ex-IGL. Finishing him off as well, so it's down to just Ninja Boy and Slug now.
Like you said, only 2 players remain from the set of K9 Esports. Ninja Boy. K9 is actually finding their footing inside the game. A good game coming in from their side. They have decent amount of finishes. But now Global Esports, the way they are maintaining the control of the city of Yasnia, if the final circle also forms on Yasnia, Global Esports can actually benefit from it. Because if you notice the compounds, the god buildings which they are holding on to, if anyone tries to come in from the open field, Global Esports can actually shoot them down.
But unless Hunters eventually destroy their own plan as he got spray got down. So that one cheeky dude is being annoying to the other side. Not really want to face that problem right now. Omega gave out the call to the members of K9 to move towards the church. Wasn't the right one. Troy is stopping Ninja Boy from crossing. Slug has no util to save him. And neither the time. It was a very risky call. There were smokes which were supposed to be deployed. None of that happened. And it's Global Esports who can have a solid opportunity to try and stop all of these teams that are towards the northwest.
The circle takes an eastern shift, a bit of the southern eastern to be specific, and is feeling the bless of God's Reign. Global Esports, they also find themselves in a very good spot to go for the finishes. Finish points are something where Global Esports can shine in this one. Hunters, yes, I do agree, is still surviving and breathing, the only hope for Genesis Esports, and can try to go for those extra position points. But here's the thing, Hunters needs to be a bit careful from the side of God's Reign. Because if the players of God's Reign spot him out, they can easily eliminate him. But iQOO Soul, Phoenix Esports, Hero Extreme, Godlike, the problem is for them because they are outside the safety of the circle. And NoNx Kaliug finally gets a better out of Ash of Phoenix Esports. So that means Jatin is the only man remaining. But for now, iQOO Soul on our screens, trying to go for those big buildings of Yasna Legit with a vehicle, directly slams onto it. But a grenade finally from the side of Fadi marks an end of Hunters. Genesis on the 11th has been eliminated.
Big 3-pointer coming in, and I'm pretty sure I heard people shouting Kobe in the background. It's a nice one. God's Reign on the other side, maintaining the entire Eastern control, the entire Eastern fray. Got memories of this kind of game previously. Different teams, similar circles. So many stories. Left untold, left unchecked. Manya trying to make one of his own. Trying to be the narrator. While he stops the members of God's Reign moving in. And has sent out Adi and Troy to deal with the rest of the members on the other side. NoNx firing onto the members of OG. They're going to be sent back home as well. No bounty claimed out there. God's Reign and Soul, both of their bounties available, but Godlike Admino is going to be forced to make his move. Now up close, Pukar dealing away with that one last Wrangler of Phoenix. Jatin taken out. Admino is going to take his face. Pukar, he seems to have an idea about what's happening in that building, so he's just waiting for a spot out coming in. But he will have to make his move as well soon. He's overstaying and overcommitting on this fight.
He's just waiting for Edmino to come out in the open because he do realize that Edmino has to come out. But for now, like you mentioned, he wanted to prioritize the rotation, but Kaliug was watching that angle, and finally Edmino has been eliminated. All thanks to Kaliug on the 8th spot. Godlike, not really a good game coming in for them as well. But Global Esports Troy has been knocked out by Neo. And God's Reign, like I mentioned, they are maintaining the eastern control of the circle. Sticking to the edge of the circle has always been the plan for God's Reign, and circle goes away from the city of Yasna, still favoring the players of God's Reign and Global Esports.
Beautiful calls coming in from Destro. Now his team will eventually be able to gatekeep the rest of the members as 4TR will try to barge in onto the members of NoNx. We'll have to see how much damage they are able to do. A lot of teams still holding it back and forth. Morty is going to be claimed up. And a nasty nade coming in from the other side. Ghana destroying 4TR. And ending their reign, which was going on till now. Slug still holding on the angle of Church. Still being the bishop of his team. Still trying to send them backpacking home though, and I'm not quite sure if they know about him. They absolutely do not. And instantly, 2 players of TWOB, or rather the entire team if I'm not wrong, has been taken down. It's just Vishu remaining on the very edge, and I'm not quite sure if he'll be able to win it.
Let's see if he can actually. Yeah, iQOO Soul not really capitalizing on those finishes. Just a single finish point. And still trying to move inside the circle. They're sticking on the periphery. Few compounds of Yasna are still in the zone. But Slug up against Vishu of TWOB. So much Molotov, so much util has been invested on a single lad. The smoke is also there. But Slug, can he actually put an end to Vishu? Or vice versa? Because now he's actually backing off. But finally, Legend of iQOO Soul marks an end for Slug. And that also marks an end for the players of K9 Esports on the 6th spot. iQOO Soul, 2 finishes, still on the periphery of the circle, but the entire circle control is with the players of God's Reign. The split which is coming in from this side has made sure they have the maximum real estate control.
for now. For the next 15 seconds, yes they do. But where will this circle shift afterwards? The best part about God's Reign is that wherever it goes, they've got one man planted there. While the rest of the members can eventually keep on fighting amongst themselves as the scraps get cleared left, right and center. The top 4 up in front of us, Global Esports. And one of the worst possible spots if you talk about it. Just a couple of members now. God's Reign out in the open. Neo, he was single man, still holding strong, fighting against his ex-Sog. Can he finally fire the blades of vengeance, the bullets that can penetrate and show his hatred? He's still holding up, but not for long, as Joker destroys him. The man who was eventually not really the most included in the playing 4 of the team last to last year, finally showcasing his skills back up on this exact same stage.
4 teams remaining, 11 players. iQOO Soul, 2 of the players are out in the open, but Legit is providing all the backline support, but that won't be enough. As Adi finds an opening and takes one of the players down from the side of iQOO Soul. The main question is, can they actually go for the revival? God's Reign, they still have got 3 players alive, and now they're finally going for the southern control as well. Especially Destro. His position is going to be so critical in this particular one. Delta with the grenade is trying to get something towards the side of Global Esports as well. Even NoNx. God's Reign, these guys have so much information. 10 finishes accumulated. And now finally Destro was fighting against the blue. Will lose the battle. 10 finishes but only 2 last players remaining from the side of God's Reign. NoNx, they have got the numbers advantage. Global Esports 2+. But the barrage of grenades can actually be a problem for both these teams.
It's like just 2 members holding down a full army on the other side right now, though. NoNx, they want to try and jump in to try and steal that one finish away, but Delta will get the confirmation. Not just that, Legit eventually, his nade finds Viper. That's an absolute disaster for NoNx. A lot of misses coming in, but that nade from Goblin deletes Delta. Another one pops in at the exact same spot now. They just need to land one at the very perfect position. Oh, it's just not hopping in. The blue, it's making its move. One connected, perfect. But there's still Justin remaining who's got to heal himself, and then he has to move out first.
It looks like this is going to the game for the players of iQOO Soul to lose. This can be a winner-winner chicken dinner for iQOO Soul. They have got the numbers advantage. God's Reign, they have been eliminated. Only 3 teams remaining. And NoNx, they have to come out in the open. The smoke cover is there. But Goblin, the last grenade in his hands, can actually mark an end for Adi, who is already pretty low on the HP. But finally, Goblin closes out on the distance. Tries to reposition himself. Finally, Kana is the one to mark an end for the players of Global Esports. Now, iQOO Soul, they only need to deal with the players of NoNx, as Goblin gets one onto Kaliug with a grenade. So that means only one last player remaining from the side of NoNx.
Beautiful again, another one. Locked in! As he tried to ban the last man. Just being an absolute nuisance, which people have known him for. Finally, Soul winning out their big chicken dinner, which a lot of people were expecting and waiting for such a long time.
I'm not really sure that Goblin is a nuisance. He's a sweet little kid. But yes, in the game he can be, which he proved to be also for the players of NoNx Esports. If you meet him outside the game, he's always smiling, a sweet little kid. But in the game, he's a completely different person.
He's a different beast.
Yeah.
An absolute different beast, though. Finally, some satisfaction onto the members of iQOO Soul. And I have to say, one of the best decisions that they made was to steal the position of Neo away. Neo was supposed to hold his own ground, but he could not because he was overwhelmed by the members. And this is the exact moment that I'm talking about. A big jump up coming in from Joker, finishing Neo off, eventually focusing down on the other event, the other areas. And then God's Reign just trying to gatekeep a couple of teams out there. Circle making its own moves and its own shenanigans. There's going to be some interview shenanigans as well on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to that and have a look.
Just hold on for a second. इस पूरे सीजन हम क्या पहली बार बात कर रहे हैं?
Probably. Like मतलब first दिन था I think तब एक बार हुई थी बात, but वो थोड़ी छोटी बात थी और मैचेस से पहले
चिकन डिनर के बाद शायद हमने पहली बार ये बात की।
राइट
भाई तो इतना टाइम क्यों लग गया?
तो बेसिकली लाइक अभी राइट नाउ थोड़ा मेरा भी ऊपर नीचे चल रहा है क्योंकि क्वालिफायर्स है, तो होपफुली टॉप 4 आके फाइनल्स में फिर गॉब्लिन एकदम खतरनाक मारेंगे, फिर बार बार इंटरव्यू लेना आप।
अब ये जो तुम गॉब्लिन की बात कर रहे हो, जिस गॉब्लिन की हमें आदत है, जिस गॉब्लिन का एक नाम बना हुआ है, वो MVP वाला गॉब्लिन, वो थोड़ी गायब टाइप नहीं?
आई डोंट थिंक कि मतलब गायब है, मतलब लाइक थोड़ा लक भी मेरा खराब चल रहा है, काफी खराब चल रहा है से, तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि मेरा ना मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम क्वालिफायर्स में थोड़ा लक ना बहुत ऊपर नीचे होता रहता है, बट मतलब लाइक फाइनल्स में 100% मारूंगा।
तुम्हारी टीम में सारे प्लेयर एक से बढ़कर एक है, बट देयर इज वन गाय दैट आई जेन्युइनली लव, क्योंकि जस्ट द वाइब राइट, जब उससे हम बात करते हैं, ही इज ऑल्सो योर IGL, मैं नकुल की बात कर रहा हूँ, हिज फर्स्ट टूर्नामेंट वेयर ही इज IGLing, व्हाट्स इट बीन लाइक?
तो लाइक नकुल बहुत मतलब लाइक बहुत अच्छी डिसीजन मेकिंग कर रहा है अकॉर्डिंग, मतलब ऐसा लग नहीं रहा उसके साथ मैं खेल रहा हूँ कि ऐसा लग ही नहीं रहा कि लाइक उसका फर्स्ट टाइम है IGLing, तो बहुत मजा आ रहा है और लेजेंड बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा खेल रहा है, लाइक राइट नाउ MVP पे, तो लाइक मेरा रोल वो पूरा एकदम परफेक्टली कर रहा है, तो इट डजंट मैटर टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट।
और जिस बंदे के साथ आई थिंक हमारा वो इंटरव्यू हुआ था सीजन की शुरुआत में, जब तुम दोनों साथ खड़े हुए थे, वो राइवलरी अब नाम की रह गई है, चिंगारियां जो अभी भी उठनी बाकी है, बिकॉज वी हैवंट सीन एनीथिंग येट।
मतलब ठीक है, उनसे इतना मतलब फर्क नहीं पड़ता टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, लाइक हमारा मेन गोल तो ट्रॉफी है, बाकी ये टीम्स तो ठीक है।
टॉप 4 बिकॉज टॉप 4, लेकिन उसके साथ में एक छोटा सा कैविएट ये भी है कि जो टॉप 4 में जाएगा उनको एक ब्रेक मिलेगा, वेदर यू लाइक इट और नॉट।
आई लाइक इट। मतलब मेन थिंग तो वो है कि लाइक ट्रैवल एंड ऑल होता है, तो इंस्टेड ऑफ ट्रैवलिंग विल गो एंड प्रैक्टिस, तो एक्स्ट्रा टाइम मिलेगा डेफिनेटली, तो हमारे लिए बेनिफिशियल भी है वो, तो मजा आएगा, ब्रेक भी है।
Right, brother. That was a really good one. Soul picking up a chicken dinner on the final match of the day. Lenge ek break and the conversations continue on the other side.
Bro, we're about to drop.
Just a second. I need to finish this video.
Ask Gemini on Android, it will give highlights.
Press for key highlights.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
He was taken too soon.
I told him, lag, we have got Snapdragon 8 series Gen 3. Elite performance, unprecedented 144 FPS, zero stutter and heating.
And yet, he still tried.
A beautiful thing.
A lot of struggles, a lot of hard works, but a lot of dedication being shown by all of those teams out here for all the 4 matches today, ladies and gentlemen. But finally, we've got the top 4 at the end of the day. I know everyone wants to know that, but you know what? Let's take a chill pill. And in terms of chilling, the first thing that we have to do is drink some Bisleri water, just to make sure that you're hydrated, right? Drink water, stay hydrated, never mess that up. Now, coming back to the same conversation, Shadow, talking about messing things up. God's Reign again. Another Erangel and another chicken dinner slipping out of their hand.
But Godstone is still at a decent spot in the overall ranking. I want to talk about the middle pack teams who are now fizzling out.
True.
One of the big name is Marcos Gaming. The rivalry against the players of RNTX is not really helping the players of Marcos Gaming.
True.
And not just RNTX, all the 4v4 fights, Marcos Gaming is not actually able to convert in their favor. Even the players of Meta NINZA, this time not the same performance which they were showcasing in the previous week is coming in. Even Dragon, the player who was doing so much in the previous week, is also not performing up to the mark.
I just have to say maybe the shoulders getting a bit too weak out there, but nothing happening out here. Look at that absolute beauties. iQOO Soul standing up strong, right? Finally getting their big chicken dinner as well. And I'm pretty sure they must have boosted themselves up in the top 2 itself if we're really talking about it. So yeah, we're probably going to see those finals performances coming in from the other side though. But NoNx, you can't keep this team out of conversation. Kalyug securing the MVP.
Yeah, 5 finishes and 71% finish contribution. Kalyug, this guy from the side of NoNx Esports, not just Kalyug, if you notice, one of the main reason NoNx is so strong is because every single individual is capable of pulling a clutch. And that's the reason that NoNx looks so strong. But looking at the stars of match, the best companion is Jatin from the side of Phoenix Esports. Legit is the finisher because he was able to deal with the last player and get that victory for the team. And I guess had this coming from a very long time because if you notice, recently they have been getting that podium finish but missing out on that winner chicken dinner. Finally, it is there now.
I agree. And also, you know, that one last finish was the scenario where Goblin wanted to just pan out the last man and Legit was like, yeah, no, you're not going to do that. We're not going to disrespect them that much though. But since we're talking about the moments of the previous game, let's have a look at the OnePlus Never Settle moments, which started off with, again, Godlike moving their way towards 4TR now, trying to just make them struggle. But even after that, 4TR answered back pretty well though. Also K9 stopping them in their own tracks as Beast. A bit of a reckless play coming in, but yeah, that slow-mo makes it definitely look cool.
But Zap, this situation was so funny and so intense because just look at the HP where Zap and S-Power is, and the entire team of Godson is trying to go for the vehicle run over on both the players. Eventually they did manage to do so, but Hunters, this grenade was so precise and iQOO Soul eventually was able to deal with Neo, which you said is one of the main reasons. But I also believe the rotation which iQOO Soul had, instead of committing to the central compounds of Yasna City, they were on the outskirt building, and that eventually led to a great control of the circle as well.
Absolutely. Overall, towards the end, good decision makings coming in from Soul, eventually leading them up to that winner chicken dinner. But even after that, it's going to be God's Reign with 29 points. And again, it's all thanks to that one big bounty of Revenant X Spark claimed up all the way down south. The team that was actually trying to gatekeep them. So it was eventually a little bit funny, but it's absolutely fine. 15 finishes coming in for them. So close next, 20 points. NoNx, again, good number of finish points for them too.
Of course, total 18 points. K9 on the 4th with total of 14 points. 4TR, it was a decent game for the players of 4TR, but a really good entire day for 4TR because of the total points which they have accumulated. Mad Kings, Marcos Gaming, 8-Bit, Meta NINZA, Genesis, they have been on the struggling side from a very long time.
We have definitely been seeing those struggles and they are not stopping at all. Let's be honest, even OG today, it wasn't really the greatest of the greatest days now, considering they always bounce on the first one and then they kind of drop down towards 3rd and 4th spot and then move back up on the first one. Right now, as we were talking about it, again on the 4th spot, but look at the boost of NoNx. Moving all the way from 8th to 5th. This team at the end of day 7, week 1, day 7, was in the bottom 5.
Yeah.
Week 3, and we've still got 2 more days to go. This team is already in the top 5.
Week 2, Genesis was untouchable on the top. And now they're not even top 5. They are on the 6th spot.
God.
NoNx have got the highest chicken dinners, 6. Except for them on the first page, it's only Global Esports with 6 chicken dinners, but they are sitting on the 8th spot. TWOB, Phoenix Esports, FS. If NoNx can do it, you guys can also do it. But the consistency is something you need to focus on, because if you notice, look at the esports, these guys have got 4 chicken dinners, but they are in the bottom 5. So consistency is important. Same goes for the plus of Marcos Gaming.
I was just about to mention that as well, right? Because these are the teams that have been struggling, but there are some players who are making others struggle, and those are going to be the top 10 players of TVS most wicked player. It's going to be finally legit moves up. So that means we're going to have one surprising thing at the end of the day as well, ladies and gentlemen. 92 finishes and 52 games, though Admino still has 2 more games to play. So I'm pretty sure that he'll be moving all the way up in front. Moving all the way to the other side, yes, Hunters, Race God, AKOP, all of them, we're going to see that. Now there's a humongous gap between Legit and AKOP, so that's one big thing. All the way over towards the 8th, God's Reign having their own boys out here. Kana to end things at the 10th spot. Pretty solid stuff. Now another solid stuff is going to be one of the most reliable performers who has gone through all the trials and has upgraded his wicked skills, just like the wicked upgrade from the Raider iQOO, which brings the best first GTT digital cluster with 85 plus connected features, best in class stock, and now 9 killer colors. So that's the best part about that bike. Also comes in the Deadpool and Wolverine variant.
Mine is Deadpool.
She stole that from me.
I know you like Deadpool, but so do I.
I'm gonna
Keep sulking.
I'm gonna take the Deadpool out here right now. But there's something that you guys can grab, and that's going to be those Swiggy coupons of 99 rupees. That's only available for limited time because we've got 45.99 finishes till now, Shadow.
Yeah. 4531 total number of finishes. 76 total number of matches, but you guys can scan their QR code for exclusive ₹99 off coupon on Swiggy, and of course free delivery as well.
Absolute free delivery out here right now. It's just like how Legit has been delivering those finishes. The blue cap holder, my oh my. It's going to be super fun now, and guess what? Another super fun thing for all the Soul fans out there is going to be to hear some words from Legit, right? I know we all love that to see, and whenever the leaderboard changes, it also happens. So why not let's send it down to Serene and Legit for that interview.
Red Bull Max takedown की ये कैप कल थी एडमिनो, एक godlike player के पास. You can't write this script, man. This is rivalry. This is how it goes. और अब ये है iQOO Soul के Legit के पास. Legit, the best player now in the tournament with most finishes. पहली बार हम लोग मिल रहे हैं इस इंटरव्यू के लिए. You are playing your first BGMS, वो भी एक इतनी बड़ी ऑर्ग के साथ, who got a reputation in iQOO Soul. What's that like, man?
मतलब बहुत अच्छा लगता है इतनी सारी चीज़ें फेस करने के बाद iQOO Soul में आना और परफॉर्म करना, अपनी टीम को ऊपर ले जाना. और अभी तो MVP लिस्ट में फर्स्ट में भी हूँ, बट ठीक है, तो ऊर नीचे चलता रहता है.
यार ये चीजें ना आप ख्वाब में भी नहीं सोचते. यू कांट ड्रीम ऑफ दिस, राइट? कि आप एक दिन गॉब्लिन के साथ खेल रहे हैं, नकुल के साथ खेल रहे हैं, एंड देन उनके लाइनअप में आप बन जाते हैं MVP एंड यू बिकम द बेस्ट प्लेयर विद मोस्ट फिनिशेस.
यस, मतलब ठीक है, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. कभी गॉब्लिन भी बन जाएगा, कभी नकुल बन जाएगा, सारे हम मारते ही हैं, तो ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. ठीक है.
इस टोपी के साथ एक जिम्मेदारी भी आती है, बिकॉज आपकी टीम जो है वो ऑलरेडी टॉप 4 में है. यू माइट बी गोइंग टू द ग्रैंड फाइनल्स, लेकिन दो धारी तलवार है, राइट? बिकॉज नाउ एवरीबडी एक्सपेक्ट्स कि आप इस परफॉर्मेंस को बार बार रिपीट करते रहेंगे ताकि आपकी टीम जो है उनका फायदा हो.
मतलब ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं है, मतलब अपना बेस्ट देने का ही ट्राई करेंगे, बट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी वाला मैं इस टोपी को कुछ ले नहीं रहा. मेन अभी यही है कि मेरे को फाइनल्स जाना है. मेन हमारा गोल वही है. टोपी वोपी तो मुझे पता भी नहीं था कि मैं बन गया हूँ फर्स्ट, उन्होंने बताया. ठीक है, इसको मैं भी इतना वो नहीं ले रहा MVP को, बट बाद में कर लेंगे. मतलब अभी तो मेन टॉप 4 ही एम है हमारा.
और इस टूर्नामेंट में iQOO Soul ने बहुत सारे अप्स एंड डाउन्स देखे हैं. अब आप लोग टॉप 4 में हो, बट देयर वाज आल्सो अ टाइम दैट यू वर स्ट्रगलिंग. 3 हफ्ते के इस टूर्नामेंट में अब तक हमने जो देखा है, कोई टर्निंग पॉइंट था?
ऐसा मतलब कुछ खास टर्निंग पॉइंट नहीं था, बट मतलब यही था कि नकुल की जो तबीयत खराब हुई थी, उधर बहुत डाउन हो गए थे सारे, और नकुल मैचेस भी मिस हो गए थे, तो वही था. बट अब अच्छा लग रहा है, वापस से सबका मूड भी ठीक हो गया, नकुल की तबीयत भी ठीक हो गई, सही हो रही सारी चीजें, तो अच्छा लग रहा है बहुत.
चिकन डिनर भी जीत रही है iQOO Soul. Congratulations Legit. Hopefully ये टोपी आपके सर पे काफी टाइम तक रहेगी. And that brings us to the end of the Master Series for today. Saturday, Sunday. मजा आने वाला है. Impact Players Bounty. Tune in शाम को here on BGMS Season 4. Until then, it's goodbye and good night.